I drove my rusty pickup to the local game store door. Starfield gleamed upon the shelf, couldn't wait no more. Todd Howard spun his stories of galaxies afar, but when I fired up that game, I didn't get too far. Oh, Todd, you sold me stardust, but gave me empty skies. Promised me the universe with all your alibis. I fell for all your stories, like I always do. Starfield left me wishing for a game that's true. They boasted endless planets, each one unique and new. But after planet number 3, I'd seen a deja vu. The critics didn't love it, gave it mediocre scores. Just another space misfire echoed across the boards. Oh, Todd, you sold me stardust, but gave me empty skies. Promised me the universe with all your alibis. I fell for all your stories, like I always do. Starfield left me wishing for a game that's true. I searched for epic battles, but the AI wouldn't fight. Characters were wooden, and the dialogue was trite. Todd promised me the cosmos, but left me in the dust. Now I'm trading in this game, it's betrayed my trust. Oh, Todd, you weaved a fable of worlds beyond compare, but all I got were glitches and load screens everywhere. Still somehow I'm considering when the next game's not, 'cause hope's a stubborn thing, and I'll give it one more try. Oh, Todd, you sold me stardust, but gave me empty skies. Promised me the universe with all your alibis. I fell for all your stories, like I'll always do. Starfield left me wishing for a game that's true. Oh, Todd, you sold me stardust, but gave me empty skies. Promised me the universe with all your alibis. I fell for all your stories, like I always do. Starfield left me wishing for a game that's true.
Time to play the game.
I'm Robin! 16 times the detail.
Shout out to the chess club. We're aiming for a controversial
Well,
7 out
down
of
at
10.
Warner Brothers, they had gold within their hands. Studios with talent, craft, and dreams, and making plans. But decisions came like twisters, scattered hopes across the floor. Now players shake their heads, wondering what they're gaming for. Oh, Warner Brothers, what you doing to your name? Patent nemesis, it's greed behind your fame. Canceled Wonder Woman, left us waiting in the dust. Suicide Squad sinking fast, lost the gaming world's trust. That Nemesis system had folks cheering far and wide, but you locked it down and creativity just died. Instead of leading progress, you're blocking up the lane, holding back the industry, causing nothing but disdain. Oh, Warner Brothers, can't you see the gaming light? Misreading your audience, getting nothing right, letting great teams crumble, opportunities ignored. Gamers asking why they're even bothered anymore. Wonder Woman could have soared, made history anew, but you tossed her out like yesterday's news. Suicide Squad came in hot, crashed and burned right through. Misunderstood your market, now the joke's on you. Oh, Warner Brothers, lost in stubborn pride, gaming world's changing, but you're stuck inside. Missed every chance you had, ignored the warning signs. Better wake up soon before you fall too far behind. Message warner from gamers coast to coast. Respect your teams and visions, or you'll end up as a ghost. Stop wasting all potential, learn to play the game, or Warner Brothers games will just remain a crying shame.
Baby, today is gonna be a fun day. I'll tell you what, we've got some stuff to talk about that I did not see coming. I'm gonna be real. It's a little madness. There's a bit of madness afoot here. I woke up with terrible bedhead, and I tried to get rid of it by getting my hair wet and like brushing it out, but it just kind of made it look sweaty. I don't know what the deal is. You're gonna have to deal with it. Like what? Well, one of the stories I want to look at will be the least surprising thing you've ever heard of in your life. It's gonna make you face palm and also go, of course. So we'll get there. But the other thing is from data mining, some people have done manually reading through thousands upon thousands of lines of code, finding some interesting little tidbits as to what our main man may be working on.
Shout out to the chess club.
So a couple of interesting things. And the naturally, in response to this, the Starfield subreddit moderators have gone scorched earth and started to delete everything. So it's kind of funny. We'll talk about it. Thank you everybody for getting us started. That's wonderful. Logan says with a $2 super chat, played 16 hours of KCD2, 10 hours of minigames. Dude, once you figure out how to get the weighted dice and like you build a collection of those, you can take people for a ride, make some serious money. I was actually just playing KCD2 last night, actually. I was going back through, I wanted to record some footage of the first DLC because I was like, I don't think I actually have any footage of it. So I went back through, loaded some old saves and stuff, and was able to get that going. And it's been good. Good time. Loaded dice makes the game a cakewalk. The biggest thing, and I still stand by it, I said it in my review, the biggest problem for KCD2, I think, is that the economy breaks by the end game. So if you know what you're doing, and if you're willing to go and like kill people and take their armor, and you figure out where like high value armor is, you can find some really, really valuable stuff. I mean, like 4,000 helmets, 6,000 chest pieces. Like you can find some crazy expensive stuff, and then you just flip it. In Kuttenbergen, you just repeat the process. You wait 2-3 in-game days for the merchants to refill their wallets and get more money, and then you go and you sell them more stuff, and you just kind of cycle that through. Like I just casually walk around now with like 12,000, crowns or whatever in my pocket. It's pretty baller. So that is certainly a thing. And then Logan also thinking for the other two, full segment on predictions for Elder Scrolls 6. I mean, I feel like I've gone through my predictions for it. I have a feeling it probably will end up playing very similarly to Starfield, but with swords. Because BGS tends to just make the previous game with a different look and wrapper, but it has the same core mechanics as the previous game with maybe one new gimmick added. So like Starfield is Fallout 4 in space with ship customization instead of just base customization. And then with Elder Scrolls 6, I think they'll also have ship customization in the sense that you'll have a literal boat you can fast travel with along the coast. And maybe it does deliveries for you, makes you like some passive income and stuff like that. But I think they'll also have a pretty big and robust castle building mini system, basically, just like the base building in Fallout 4, Fallout 76, and Starfield. And I think that's going to be a big component because they talked back in the day with Skyrim that they wanted to do like a castle, build your own castle mini game, and they never got it working in time. So they added it sort of as a DLC, but you had like a little house. I forget what the name of the DLC is. And then Fallout 4, they actually started building it out. But I think they'll have castle building and stuff like that. You know, is that enough to excite people? Sure. Does that fix the core problems with BGS games? I don't think so. Hearthfire, yeah, that yeah, Hearthfire. But yeah, I mean, I'm sure there'll be some cool gimmicky things, but I don't think there will be anything insane that will like directly answer the chief concerns. GamesWire News, thank you for the 5. Hey, Luke just finished The Last of Us Part 1 game. I love it. Have a great day, Luke. You have a great day too. I'm glad you played it. Hopefully you had fun. Okay. Let's do this. The rest of the stream. Okay. Because we now have goals for super chats and stuff, I'm going to put one up on the YouTube side of things. 5 yellow super chats, and Todd gets to come out of the closet for the rest of the stream. Fair? Release Todd. G-Mentis, thank you for 12 months. I just started Baldur's Gate 3 last week. I'm having a blast, even though I have absolutely no idea what I'm doing. Let's get the stream going, bro. Dude, if you want to see some insane challenge runs, and I've said this before, but I'll say it again, look up Luality, because she's done some insane challenge runs of Baldur's Gate. Blow your mind.
$10 through Super Chat. Todd is your father. Search your feelings. You know it to be true.
Yes, he is.
Lol, hi Luke. My girlfriend and I can't decide if we want a Gothic wedding or a Lord of the Rings wedding.
Oh,
also,
wow.
how'd I add Discord?
That sounds baller. A Lord of the Rings wedding or a Gothic wedding? I mean, I guess it depends on where you are, because like I imagine Gothic, and I feel like you have to rent out a castle. Is that fair? I feel like you have to do that. Lord of the Rings, like you can do that really nicely in like a meadow or like a very well-maintained lawn or garden. So a venue that has that. But I feel like if you're going to go Gothic, you got to go somewhere with like Gothic architecture too, you know? I think both would be awesome. Don't get me wrong. I think both would be totally awesome. But I think here's the other thing. I think you got to force a dress code. I think you got to do that. Some people are like, oh, the dress code for our wedding is black tie formal. That's fine. I respect it. But I feel like if you're going to do Lord of the Rings, maybe you make it so nobody can wear shoes. Maybe you make it so everybody has to wear little elf ears or something. Just something, that really immerses people. Only robes. Yeah, there you go. Everyone has to bring a sword. Yeah, wizard robes. Everyone needs a staff. There's all sorts of things you could do. I like both of those ideas. Yeah. Dude, can you imagine? Yeah, welcome to our wedding. Just gonna say you need to not wear shoes, and elf ears are required. Well, you see, I say no shoes, but then I think of there's some people that need shoes. I've told you guys this story before about the guy that used to go to some of the chess tournaments I would compete in. Really nice guy, very strong player, but he would walk around and he had like the full skullet So balled up here, long white hair, super greasy, hadn't showered in weeks, I'm sure, maybe longer. And, you know, he's like a big 400-pound dude waddling around the hotel barefoot, like even going into the bathroom barefoot up to the urinals and stuff. And I was like, bro, the year after he did that, I think is when they instilled a mandatory shoe policy. Only at a chess tournament, right? You gotta put in, please wear shoes, guys, please, and clothes, come on, please. Like, it's not as bad. I've heard horror stories of like Warhammer tournaments where they literally have a hygiene code, not a dress code, a hygiene code, to be like, if you're gonna come play Warhammer at our tournament, you need to have brushed your teeth and you need to have showered recently. Like, if you have to say that, that's pretty freaking funny, but that's Warhammer for you. It has a very unique audience. And I think, you know, you can just imagine no stinky nerds allowed. You're allowed to be stinky. No, you're allowed to be a nerd. You're not allowed to be stinky. That's the key. That's the key. Which I appreciate them, frankly, instilling that, because nothing's more difficult than trying to focus and then you're just overrun with odor, you know. But Koenig, honestly, both of those sound fantastic as options. And as for how do you add the Discord, so how it's supposed to work is that
Connie Kaiser IV donated
another one. Thank you.
$10 through Super Chat. Thinking Grace Cathedral in San Francisco if we go Gothic. We're in Texas, by the way. You're definitely getting an invite, lol. Release the Todd.
Oh yeah, release the Todd, praise the Todd. For some reason it's only counting that as one of the 5. We'll consider that 2 of the 5 because it's, or is it, what did I set it to? Oh, I set it to yellow. Well, thank you, Koenig. That's very generous of you. Oh, this is, yeah, see, this is what I was picturing. The Grace Cathedral. Yeah, this could work. Look at that. Yeah, that's baller. That's baller for like a Gothic wedding. Hell yeah. Dude, it's gorgeous. I haven't been inside many cathedrals. There was one I went into, which was the it was the one in New Orleans. Sorry, New Orleans, the St. Louis Cathedral. It's also, it's not quite as Gothic as that one, but I mean, this is what it looks like. It's freaking gorgeous. Very, very pretty. Yeah, and inside is all the original like marble flooring and stuff. It's very pretty. Big cathedrals. I love it, man. I love it. Those are beautiful. Those are beautiful. And as for the Discord, how it's supposed to work is that you're supposed to be able to just go like on Discord, the app, user settings, and then there's the connections tab. And once you're a member or a Twitch sub, you just click connections, connect your account, and it should automatically add you to the server. Sometimes it takes an hour, sometimes it takes a day. Sometimes people don't get invited. They have to disconnect and then reconnect it. One guy told me that he had a VPN turned on. So he was like trying to sign up through his phone that had a VPN turned on. And once he disconnected it, turned off the VPN and then reconnected it, it worked. I don't know, but give it a shot. If you have trouble, like I've said, guys, just take a screenshot of you connecting it on the connections tab on Discord and send me an email at luke@28thave.com and I can try to brute force it. But you got to send me a screenshot of that connections tab to show that you're like actually connecting it. Because Discord has problems. They are a little tricky sometimes. Little tricky. Roundtable Conference, thank you for the resub. Ooh, baby. Are we going to talk about the fake Nintendo leak video and the backlash he's getting for it? We did. Chanster actually linked us the video. I was trying to make sure we had enough time to talk about it before going deep, because it's a long video. It's like 30 plus minutes. But I wasn't aware he's getting flack for it. What are people saying? Why are they giving him crap? Is it just because like he intentionally kind of tricked people into covering a fake leak? Is that what it is? Or is there something more? I'm not sure. And then Sayura-san, thank you for the 8 months. Oh, baby, thank you. I'm not sure. Not sure. I tried, or I linked my accounts for the members thing. Never got the invite. It's been almost a month now. Okay, Ardo, send me a screenshot of that and then send me an email. Luke at 28th Ave. I'll get you in the Discord. I got you, baby. I got you. It's just I have to manually do it. Like I have to sit down and manually do it. So if you send me an email, I can be like, oh, there it is. Let's do it. You know. For Lord Todd. Thank you, Silver Lightning. Praise be. Praise be to Todd. Praise be unto him. May Todd be with you.
Silver
and also
Lightning
with you.
donated $10 through Super Chat. For Lord Todd.
For Lord Todd. Any updates on Mafia? No. No. I do know of one. I've seen one person confirm that they have a review code for Mafia. For me, basically, just so you understand kind of how this works, typically for coverage of games like this, there's some exceptions, but typically this is how it works. There's like two lists. There's like the press list, and then there's like the fan / creator list. Creator. So like most TikTokers end up in here. Most like a lot of YouTubers, streamers will end up in here. And the difference is that like press will get like a review code, right? Because they're going to review the game and cover it that way. And typically you're only on one of these lists. And they will choose where they want you based on your history, based on what you've said about the games, based on what you've talked to them about, that type of thing. I've been very vocal that I'm a big Mafia fan. I really like the Mafia games, and I have for a long time. So they've put me on the fan / creator list. So I'm not in the media list. I'm on the fan / creator list, which is fine. You know, it's been actually a thing when we cover like Assassin's Creed, because they treat the press a little bit differently than they treat like fans / content creators. Like, you know, when they send like a fun little thing, like I have all those random jackets and like weird little things. Like I have the freaking marathon stuffy. This thing. I knocked over something. Like they'll send this to the people on the fan and creator list, but they wouldn't be sending this to like the guy at IGN reviewing the game, right? So it's just about figuring out how to get on the list you want to be on. And sometimes it's beyond your control and you don't get to decide. And in this case, they put me on the fan creator list because they know I'm a fan of Mafia. Fair. But it means that I won't have like a day one review when reviews drop. Which it is what it is. You're not entitled to anything. They're still being very nice and reaching out. And it looks like we will have the ability to do an I tried on day one or something. But as for the specific like review list, I'm not on that. So I'm not playing the game at this point. And this happens pretty frequently. It's a common thing, but it's just how the cookie crumbles. It's how the press works. It's also interesting because sometimes the difference in code volume will be massive. Like, what was it? Was it Star Wars Outlaws? I think Star Wars Outlaws was giving out like, you know, 1,000, I don't know if this is the actual number, but like 1,000 fan creator codes, but then they're giving out like 100 press codes. So if you were a reviewer saying, hey, I want to review the game specifically, there were limited numbers of stuff they could send out. But if you were like, hey, I'm a big fan of Star Wars, they would send you a code like it was nothing. You know, it's just how they break it up, because a lot of the time this is handled internally, this is handled like in the company itself, and then this is handled with a marketing agency that they've hired on the side, so they have separate
Kane donated
people working
$10
on it.
through
It's
Super
just
Chat.
way more complicated
I'm
than you
looking
think.
forward to seeing if Luke's upcoming video will be titled, I was right, it's only 12 hours long.
Well, what they've said is that it's in line with Mafia 1 and 2. And those games both are about, like, they're between 10 and 11 hours long, depending on your pace. So I'm fully expecting 10 to 11 hours. That's my expectation. It's only $50. So I think being 10 to 11 hours, that's about right. My main concern has just been with performance, but we'll see what it's like. We'll see what it's like. They're not sending review codes to the creators. What do you think? They are not sending review codes to the creators. What do you think about it? I'm not totally sure what you mean. I mean, it's just different. Like the random TikToker that screams at the camera, "Hey guys, today I'm trying Mafia the Old Country and it's gonna blow your mind. It has knives and cars in it and I can go vroom vroom super fast. Smash the like button." You know, those guys, no, they're not going to send them like review codes because chances are they're going to leak stuff anyways. And you know, that's how it's going to go. So they just fundamentally handle it differently. It's just how the market and how the industry works. So like, I'm not saying I love this system. I'm just telling you how it works. There's 2 lists. Sometimes there's like 3 or 4 lists. For example, like with Suicide Squad, there was a press list where they invited press, remembered, out to Warner Brothers, and they got to preview Suicide Squad early. And those previews did not go well. But that was the press list. Those people on the press list got invited to that. But then there was a separate list for like creators and streamers. And then there was another list for upper echelon, like high tier streamers, like the Dr. Lupo, Tarek, I think was his name, and Shroud. And they were on that separate elite list that specifically were flown out, paid to do an exclusive stream playing the game and that type of thing. And so with a lot of these things, they just have different lists and you don't really get to pick which list they put you in. You just sit in the list and the bucket that they sorted you into, and it's fine. You know, you're not entitled to anything. You're not entitled to be in any list. So it just is what it is, you know. It just is what it is. I don't get to make the rules. That's just how these companies do it, you know. The Fate Breaker, yeah, isn't that the one we watched live? Isn't that the trailer we saw live? Because we were watching that's the THQ one, right? Yeah. This is the one we watched live. Should have been on the stream. We were watching it live on stream, my dude. Sure did. It's being made by like 10 people. Seems pretty solid. It looks really, really good, but I mean, as we've seen, Unreal Engine 5 is capable of some really beautiful games, but that does not necessarily mean that it will be really fun and polished. That's a separate question, but it looks really good, especially for 10 people. It's ridiculous. Very, very cool. I was at a job interview. Congrats. Well, I mean, I guess I should take that back. Hopefully it went well. I shouldn't just say congrats because I don't know. Maybe it went badly. I don't know. Let's see. Friendly PSA before Battlefield 6 beta. You have to enable safe launch and BIOS to make their anti-cheat work. Hope that changes by the release. Yes. So I actually bookmarked something for that because I wanted to specifically bring it up on stream. So thank you for bringing it up because I want to specifically show this. Okay. Mini segment. Maybe Trevor, you clip this as like a clip to just be like, watch this before you play the beta. Okay. So new mini segment. So Battlefield 6 has its own proprietary anti-cheat system that accesses the very, very lowest levels of your computer to try and prevent certain cheats that can be booted up at like separate times from the Windows boot up. I don't know. I'm not smart enough to understand a lot of this, but what I do know is that their anti-cheat will not work on a Windows PC unless you do something very, very specific that you probably have not already done. And that is enabling secure boot on your PC. Now, Battlefinity, by Community, which is funny, they have specifically outlined this, and I actually followed these steps and it worked for me because I did not have this enabled on my computer and I had to do this. You have to follow these basic steps where you can check for one with Windows plus R, type msinfo32 and see if secure boot state is turned on. If it's turned on, you're good. You can launch the game Battlefield 6 and you'll be totally fine. However, if it's not on, if it says off, you have to go into your BIOS of your computer. You have to go into like the advanced settings, depending on your motherboard, go to boot type, find the OS type, change it from other OS to Windows UEFI mode, and then go into secure boot and change it from custom to standard. And then you save, exit, reboot, and then check with step 1 again to see if it's turned on. If you do that, you're good. But if you don't, this is the error you will see. You'll see secure boot is not enabled. Learn how to use secure boot at Go EA secure boot 111, blah, blah, blah. So just a heads up, tomorrow when the Battlefield 6 beta, or I guess playtest starts, there will be so many people trying to get in. It will blow your mind. Already, let me see if I can pull it up real quick. Already, it's not even open yet. It's not out yet. And there are people just sitting, waiting to get in. Battlefield 6, I think, I forgot, I don't see where. Oh, here it is. It's a separate thing. It's not open yet. And there's already 8,300 people sitting waiting. Last night, 24,000 people had it booted up just to make sure that they were able to open the app. It's not even available yet. You can open the menus and that's it. But like other than that, you're just sitting here. Like, it's crazy. The level of interest is wild. And a lot of people who have gotten the beta access keys are playing through the EA app,
Konig
not
Kaiser
Steam.
IV donated $10 through Super Chat. I disconnected my YouTube and tried to reconnect now. I'm getting error code 50147 expressionless.
Of course, that's Discord for you. It's been a headache to get that working, dude. I'll tell you what. Coney, just send me an email. Like I said, Luke at 28thave.com, Luke at 28thave.com, with that screenshot, and I can get you hooked up. So just send that email and I can get it. Make the title something like eye-catching, or just, put your name in the title and then Discord problems and I can get to it. Anyway, thank you for that. And thank you for another $10 super chat. That's crazy. We are one yellow super chat away from Todd getting to come out of the closet, everybody, just so you know. He's been stuck in there. It's a dark liminal space. And he's desperate to come out. So definitely, if you want to rescue Todd, maybe you don't, maybe you want him to stay there. Who knows? So the point of all of this is tomorrow, everybody's going to be trying to get in. The last thing you want is to be trying to get in and then hit with this error code. And then you got to do all of this while everybody else is trying to log in. Okay. And getting in ahead of you because they already did it. So if you're going to try to play the beta on the, on PC, take care of these steps now and then get in. This is a separate issue. A lot of people, like mass downvote and lose their minds over kernel-based anti-cheat systems and stuff. There's been plenty of games that have gotten mass downvoted on Steam because of having this type of thing. It is well above my pay grade. I don't really understand the details of it, and I won't pretend to because I'm just a YouTuber.
Donated $10 through Super Chat.
Thank you.
Squid Games.
Thank you. Yeah, and with that, Todd gets to come out of the closet. Thank you, Squid Games, indeed. Thank you, guys. Very generous. But with all this said, I understand there's people that have concerns over security with it. They don't like opening up their computer, like super low level access to their computer with games like this. Again, it's above my pay grade to know all of the risks and things involved. From my layman's perspective, it seems like EA is a fairly safe bet. If it was like some mysterious Chinese developer you'd never heard of and they have the requirement to let them have kernel access to your computer, yeah, I probably wouldn't do that. But I can understand some people are worried about, vulnerabilities within the system. I can understand that. But what we do know is if you want to play the Battlefield 6 beta, which a lot of us certainly do, you have to do this. So love it or hate it, if you want to play, you got to do it. That's just how it works, and it's how they're combating cheaters. And honestly, nowadays, cheating is so rampant in these games, I'm okay with it if it actually gets rid of the cheaters. Whether or not it does is a separate issue. There we go. Whether or not it does is a totally separate issue, but hopefully it does, because cheating in these games has gotten so out of hand. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Bring up the screen. Hold on. I'm not actually sure if I have EA installed on this Windows profile, because I have a separate Windows profile for streaming as opposed to my personal one, you know. We've all seen the clips of people accidentally revealing too much. Not that I have anything on my computer that I'd be like ashamed of. It's just like if I have autofill data or something with my address on it, like I just don't want to risk it. I don't want to deal with that, you know. Okay, that's signed in. I'll show you what the main menu looks like. It's not going to have me verified with a code. I scanned with the Steam app, and now they're going to make me verify with a code, dude. Okay. There we go. Gotta pretend like I'm an 80s hacker. I'm into the mainframe. Oh, it's updating. Updating code. It's updating. It's doing its thing. Well, anyway. All of that being said, take care of it if you want to play the beta. My understanding is they are making it so if you watch just 30 minutes of a partnered stream, you get access to the beta through Twitch drops. So if you are wanting to get into it, it's going to be doable. You will be able to get into it. You just watch like 30 minutes of a partnered stream and you get the Twitch drops with access to the beta, which is kind of cool. So they're going to open it up. Am I partnered? I am partnered with EA. I'm not sure if I've specifically been put on that list for Battlefield 6, but I will send an email to check. Because it's like I'm in that program, but I think they specifically have to flip a switch for your channel, and I haven't gotten confirmation that that's happened. So, but it involves using Twitch, or you can just like turn on the Twitch stream and leave it on for 30 minutes and then watch primarily on YouTube. Because we'll be playing it tomorrow. So there are options. Also, if you sign up for labs, you get early access. Yeah. The point is, if you want into the beta, you will get access to the beta. This is not one of those betas where it's like you have to know a guy who knows a guy or win like a giveaway online. It's not like that. If you want to get in, you'll get in, which is nice. Honestly, I appreciate that. I appreciate it. And I'm excited for it. But all of this to say again, just take care of this ahead of time. Again, if you need to know how to do it, this is the step-by-step. You can pause the video and go through these steps yourself if you need to. Shout out to Battlefinity for outlining all of this. But yeah, once you get that done, you can boot into it and it will look like this. Open beta. It's thinking. Why does it want change? Oh, EA Javelin anti-cheat. It needs to specifically be granted administrative permissions on the computer. I see. I understand. Beta. Yeah, I need to get that Jesse Lee Peterson soundbite. There we go. I'll show you what it looks like. Where's the sound effect? Here's a little snippet.
Rumar, are you the head of your
Equal.
Are you
I am no.
beta?
Here it is.
Equal.
Are you the head?
He's the
Beta.
Beta.
I am no. I'm an alpha.
Not if you think you and your wife are equal. Beta.
Jesus. Beta. It's a beta. Okay. Yeah, and then you press spacebar, it connects to online services. It doesn't go anywhere though. It just like loads into the lobby like this. and an undefined error has been identified, which I think is just that it's not turned on right now. And so it just spins and spins. Spins and spins. But tomorrow. I think it's tomorrow morning at 1 a.m. Pacific is when it unlocks. So it's all day. It's all day. And I'm excited, dude. I'm excited. I'm here for it. I am here for it. I need it in my life. 10 a.m. here in the Czech Republic. Oh yeah, so yeah, that checks out. Preparing. Oh, there we go. And then you get to the main menu. Early access begins August 7th, and they outline that, and that's all you can do. This is the whole thing. But once you're in here, you're ready to go. You're ready. But like, I'm accessing it directly through the EA app, not through Steam. So, and I know a lot of other people that got codes specifically to play through the EA launcher. So like that 24,000 number just sitting in menus, it's probably way higher. Way higher. Hey Luke, if I'm subscribed to EA Play every month or on PlayStation, will I be able to play the beta tomorrow? That I think so. I think it's also if you have Game Pass Ultimate and you have EA Play as a result of that as well, I think you also get access to it. I believe. People in chat are saying yes. Is that the consensus? Do you have to pre-order to play the beta? Not necessarily, no. I've not pre-ordered it. I got access to it. It depends on how you got access to it though, I think. But like if you're in labs, you don't have to do that. I'll check Xbox now. Yeah. If you have Xbox, Game Pass Ultimate or whatever, you have EA Play. You just get an email. Yeah, see. Which is cool. So anyway, also, I'm sorry, I saw this and I know this went viral already. I have to watch it again. I swear to God, I'm not making fun of this dude, but no one has ever looked like they suffered like this in human history. This was at a fighting game tournament. Can somebody explain to me where this is from? He lost a match.
That was so insane. He played like the best round I have ever seen defensively. Koichi like, yo, my bad, bro. My bad.
Oh, it's Evo?
Oh my God, bro. I feel it for both of them, honestly.
Oh my Lord. KOG, always a character. Very emotive guy, this one. Yo.
He might be hamming it up. He probably is. But like clip farming basically. But I also love the idea that he's actually having like a mental breakdown and everybody's like, what an emotive guy.
He played like, I get it, man.
Yo, I feel it.
Dude, he put it all on the line with that last round. Seriously. He played like,
what do you do?
Cannot oversell just how well he played.
He's about to write a very sternly worded slow to punish the
like, it's just ridiculous, dude. Oh my God, I feel bad for laughing, but it's got to be everybody else is laughing, so maybe they know this guy and he does this kind of thing, like he hams it up. I don't know, but like, what do you even do? What do you say? You're next to this guy. It's okay. Like, I don't know. No way he's not trolling. Of course he is trolling. I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't know the fighting game community. I don't know any of this. The extent of like the fighting game community that I know is like the old clip of, oh crap, what's his name? It was LTG, Low Tier God, and whatever the other guy he was making fun of, and then he like challenged him to a duel and he lost and was like totally humiliated. It was very funny. And then of course DSP is really into it. Viscon, that's it. Thank you. Yeah, the FGC is crazy and ridiculous and outrageous. So I know that there's like a lot of very big characters in the fighting game community. I just am not in that world, so I don't know. But it is crazy how many, not just lolcows, but like internet phenomena come from the FGC. Like how it all starts there. It's very funny. It's very, very funny. Will the Twitch drops give codes that work on PS5? I believe how it works, T-Bone, is that it's specifically a code you activate. This is how it worked for me. You activate it through your EA account. So you activate on your EA account, meaning you can access it on like any of the platforms. That's my understanding, is that because you're unlocking it through EA, any platform that has EA, you can access the game from there. So like Steam, Game Pass, EA Play, Xbox, whatever. I think, yeah. But it's specifically a code you activate through their site, and then it trickles down to everything. Yeah, it's your EA account, so your PS5 account tied to the EA account will play it. Yeah, that's my understanding. And if it doesn't, it'll have you acting like this. Dude, way back in the day, I was playing in a chess tournament. In 2011, I like tied for first at the Scholastic State Chess Championship. And if I had gotten half a point more, I would have just been the sole winner of the tournament. And I felt like this after one of my matches that ended in a draw. Like I thought I could have won it, and then I just let the advantage slip away, and I felt like this. So I've been here. I don't think I looked like this. But I have felt that way. Yeah, at least he didn't overreact. Yeah. But good on him for clip farming if that's intentional. If not, I hope he's doing okay, because my God. Oh, man. Yeah, that's a meme right there. That's a meme right there. Oh, my God. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. It's just insane. Okay. Let's see. FGC is silly. Dude, as long as they are having fun, that's all that matters, let's see. Okay. Yeah, we've got this. Hold on, let me pull it up. So one of you guys said that where is it? The guy that did that fake Nintendo leak, that he was getting crap for doing this and like some blowback. I don't know. Okay, well, I'm reading through some of the comments. I can kind of understand. So basically, news hammer. So this has been going around for the last handful of days, and it's an interesting story. Basically, Chanster from chat, but also Hobbit on our member and Twitch sub exclusive Discord, said, "Hey Luke, I have a very interesting video that just dropped about a famous YouTuber doing a social experiment, creating a fake Nintendo leak and seeing how the internet reacts. He explained what he did, how people reacted, and what he learned about the leaks industry, and how he thinks they can be solved. It's a very well-made video, and I think it could be perfect for a stream segment. I appreciate you, Luke. By the way, I'm your sub Chancer from chat." Hell yeah, Chancer, thank you. Thank you for the recommendation. The video is from Beat 'em Ups, and it's just simply labeled "I faked a Nintendo leak," and to investigate how rumors spread online. And this is not the first time people have done this sort of thing. There's been a couple of other instances where people have tried it. And I know that there's actually been companies that have tried this too. I've talked about this on stream before, but there was one thing that happened where like there were leaks at a large gaming publisher. I won't say which one, because I'm not sure if I'm supposed to know this, but there were leaks that were regularly happening at a very large gaming publisher development house, and they wanted to figure out where the leaks were coming from. So they started to use some tricky tactics to try and track it down. And it's similar to what Elon did, where Elon was trying to find leakers within Tesla. And what they did was, here it is. What they did is that they would go and they would have a paragraph of the leak basically, and then they would go and we sent what appeared to be identical emails to everybody, but each one was coded with either 1 or 2 spaces between sentences, forming a binary signature that identified the leaker. Because what they would do is the leaker would copy and paste the text like this into an email to a journalist or something, and then they'd be able to track who did it based on, okay, well then the journalist copy and pasted it into their article. We can see that these 2 spaces are here, these 2 spaces are here. And so literally because the people were just lazy and copy and pasting instead of retyping it, they were able to track down who the leaker was. And this company was doing something similar as well, where they were trying to track down where the leaks were coming from. I don't know if they were using spaces or if they were using like actual physical different words, but what I was told was that they were using uniquely structured like emails and I think it was like Slack messages or something, and they were able to identify the leaker that way. And so these types of things to track down leakers, figure out who's doing it, are very common, because especially some leaks happen pretty high up within the company, which is always surprising. Like I think they've said that they expect there's some leakers pretty high up within like EA, within BGS. They have a lot of stuff leak, like entire scripts and everything. Ubisoft has had some high up leaks as well. So they definitely are working hard to try and figure this out. They spend millions on security for a reason. But in this case, he is intentionally leaking something about Nintendo and seeing how the internet reacts. We'll see. I hope he's doing it. We'll see what his methodology was. But if he's like leaking it as himself, that's going to be weird. Hopefully he's just like making a post online. I don't know. We'll see.
I can't tell you how I know. Do with this information what you will. There's going to be a Nintendo Direct next month. It's going to tease a card, Animal Crossing, coming out in 2026.
People are going to lose their minds, 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 lose their minds.
This Nintendo Direct leak took
Oh, so he literally just said it on his YouTube channel? He just said that okay.
Over the internet. It was shared across Reddit, Twitter, YouTube, all over the gaming news world. But here's the problem. I made it up.
Popular YouTuber of beat 'em ups on his podcast where he said this last month.
There's going to be a Nintendo Direct next month.
Beat 'em ups believes a direct will be in July.
Known for his channel Beat 'em Ups and also host of the Nintendo podcast,
said that he had an unidentified source that says there will be a Nintendo Direct.
Woods is not usually a leaker, so this is spicy.
Big Nintendo Direct in July.
And he's not typically a person to like put out leaks and rumors.
Woods said that he had a source.
Hopefully Beat 'em Ups is completely telling us good info.
A very well trusted YouTuber, Wood from Beat 'em Ups,
where a YouTuber came out and said
a new game in the popular Animal Crossing franchise.
A YouTuber said that there's a potential leak for new Animal Crossing.
He doesn't do this, so why is he doing it now? Well, he must be fairly confident.
And I honestly can't see why they would lie about this at all.
Is this legit?
Do you believe him or do you not believe him?
I really hope this turns out to be true. So we will see if he's correct or not.
And I want you to know right now that if you are wrong about this, if you have gotten my hopes up,
he might actually get beat 'em up online if we don't get anything that happens this week.
I just can't see why Beat 'em Ups would lie about this.
I will hire every single Etsy which I can to put a curse upon you.
And for Wood's sake, you better be right.
Your life is going to be ruined.
I hate gaming leaks. They ruin surprises.
I mean, I'll just say at the outset, I thought if he's going to do like a social experiment to study leaks and stuff, he would do like an anonymous post or something to like a subreddit or something like that. When you have been a content creator for years and years and years, and you've built up a reputation as being reliable, and you know, you don't typically cover leaks, so if you're going to leak something, that's a big deal. That carries weight. So I guess I'm just confused what the methodology is, or what the thought process is behind the methodology. If he's just blasting it out to, you know, 1.9, I think it was, 1.9 million subscribers. You know, now I just think he's a liar. Well, there was that one thing. I wonder if I can find it. I might have to hold on. There was one story back with AC Shadows let's see, about AC Shadows getting delayed that was faked so that a YouTuber find the tweet. This is one thing where Grok is really helpful, specifically at finding obscure tweets from like a year and a half ago that are very specific. But basically there was a guy that sent a fake leak anonymously to a YouTuber who had been accused of like, not just like rage baiting, but also running with anything. Like somebody says anything and he believes it hook, line, and sinker, doesn't vet any information at all. And so this guy sent this YouTuber a fake made up leak saying, this is what's happening. I think it was a delay for AC Shadows. And he immediately, like within hours, had made a video on it describing how this was happening. And I have an anonymous source that I think is reliable that says that this is happening and everything. And it proved the point that some of these guys will run with any nonsense out of nowhere just because it fits with their narrative or it fits with the type of content they want to make, bashing Ubisoft or bashing Nintendo or whatever else it may be. I'm trying to pull it up. It's searching for it. Please hold. But something like that methodology, I think, makes more sense. If you're trying to showcase how people will run with anything, do it anonymously and see how many people run with it anonymously without any real credibility. The thing is, if you have a reputation like that, that is something that you have to factor into the equation as to why people are believing it, right? Like why they're running with it. It's a component, I think. Bro's just standing there. Yeah, Todd likes to watch us. He likes to keep an eye on us. I think it found it. Let's see. It's locking it in. It found a bunch. Is this it? Okay. McDizzle Gaming, who later deleted their original confession after receiving a cease and desist letter. Did Smash send a cease and desist? Really? Okay. That's funny. Okay, so it was posted by Smash JT. It reads, exclusive Ubisoft Insider Assassin's Creed Shadows delayed again, is what he said. It included the thumbnail image showing Yasuke's face with overlaid text reading exclusive AC Shadows delayed again, May 2025. The tweet revealing the leaker was faked through an email, was posted by Smash JT February 15th. It reads, troll makes elaborate hoax, fakes email, and steals identity of Ubisoft dev, goes to great lengths to fool and accomplishes the mission. And then publicly claims he was the leaker, make it make sense. Basically, they don't have the... Oh, because the tweets were deleted. That's why, because he received a cease and desist. But basically, this guy baited this YouTuber into making a video by claiming that he was this Ubisoft employee. The YouTuber in question didn't verify the claim, didn't verify the identity of the guy, just ran with it, made a big video, kind of ended up looking a little stupid, and it revealed that some of these YouTubers were willing to run with anything, even if there was no verifying information, and it was literally just a claim in an anonymous email, which is a little bit funny. Because at the time, there were lots of claims that some of these YouTubers were making up their own information, or, you know, they were claiming stuff that just ended up flatly being false, you know, that they were just running with because it would get clicks. And they just said, oh, I got an anonymous email that said this. And so revealing it and trolling them in that way demonstrated that maybe these people you shouldn't rely on too much, because they are willing to run with literally anything so long as it fits the narrative they want to push. In this case, though, like, that methodology makes sense. It's anonymous. It shows how lacking in investigative rigor they are. But in this case, it seems like he just literally is posting a video claiming something based on his reputation, and then I guess the point is, see, they believed me. They're stupid. Like what? I'm missing a piece of it.
We love, and I've always been curious, how do fake leaks get so much traction? Like, how does something so clearly fake go viral? We live in a culture of constant Nintendo Direct rumors, manufactured excitement, and clickbait YouTube titles. Hey, so I had a thought. What if I leaked huge gaming news? If I followed the spread of that leak, attract its momentum, and then the ripple effects, could I conduct an experiment to find a way to stop fake leaks once and for all? But there was one problem. I am not an industry insider. I don't have any leaks.
Okay, so if the goal is, as he stated, if the goal is to find a way to fix the problem of people just running with fake leaks and identify how to prevent this from happening in the future, I think, honestly, even though that guy ended up apologizing for trolling this guy into making a video that was wrong, I think something like that actually does a decent job, because what it does is it makes everybody pause and go, I don't want to be made fun of for making a video on a fake leak. So I'm not going to do that. I'm going to wait until I have 2 or 3 connected sources that I can verify. Like, dude, I'll tell you what, I've been sent some stuff that would blow your mind. Half of it, probably way more than half of it, honestly, totally fake. It's just literally some kid typing to see if he can get a YouTuber to make a video on something that he thinks might happen. Other times, it's information I find out about. I'm like, okay, but I don't know if I can believe this person. So it just goes into a folder in my email and I kind of forget about it. And then 2 years after the fact, I see something. I'm like, oh, shoot, they were right. But by that point, it's too late. But the point is, because I don't have verifying information, I can't do anything with it. And there are some instances where like they will send me, like, I guess I should clarify, what does verifying information mean? I think verifying information would be like if they can share something that nobody outside the dev team or nobody outside of a real source would have, like sending a picture of them holding their employee ID card with another like piece of paper written on it, emailed to Luke or something like that, which is very specific that they couldn't just come up with. That is a convincing something or other. I've had people send me information about games, and they'll also send me pictures of their desk where they have like, you know, all of their awards and things from, like, one guy that I was talking to, like, literally had one of those. I don't think it was the Game Awards. It was like back in the day with Spike TV or something. It was like one of those little trophies. And, you know, you do reverse image searches. You make sure it didn't come from anywhere else, and you check all of that. But even then, 99% of the time, I won't run with that stuff because it is just hearsay. It's just a person is telling me something, and that's not a lot of good reason to believe anything. It's just a guy told me this. Like, it's just not. So you always have to take it with a grain of salt. So I'm a personal believer. I think that public shaming and mockery is a great way to prevent this by just making it clear, hey, if you run with a fake leak and we can prove that it's fake, we get to make fun of you. Like, I think that works pretty well, personally. I don't know if you need to do an elaborate thing like this. You need to see the metadata includes location also to verify the pic. Well, and typically it's also, like, my policy is I won't do anything like that unless I have like 2 separate sources that I can independently verify that are saying the same thing. At that point, I think you're good. Like, look at how Jason Schreier does it, which is why Jason Schreier has the reputation that he does. It's because he will be like, hey, I'm going to do a breakdown of what happened with Dragon Age the Veilguard. I have 15 sources of people that I hopped on the phone with who I might have met at industry events and gotten their personal like phone number or email address. Like, he's verified those sources. He knows they're real, and he has like a dozen of them. And then he writes a piece on it. He's not running with, I saw on 4chan an anonymous post claiming that. Like, he's not doing that, which is why people tend to look at him more trustingly, I guess. It's not that elaborate. He just lied and pretty much eyeballed it from there. Really?
I am just a YouTuber. So, you know, in a way, I kind of had to lie.
There's going to be a Nintendo Direct next month in July. Metaphor. We're going to get GameCube. I heard it was Pokemon
Death
Colosseum
Stranding
was
Director's Cut S.
Witcher 3 Nintendo Switch 2 edition.
Metroid's
I heard
date.
Isabelle's going to show up, and it's going to tease a card Animal Crossing coming out in 2026.
Sorry.
I'm not hooked up to Nintendo stuff. I mean, it is not my world. I don't cover Nintendo stuff really at all. So I guess I just missed this, but even I'm hearing this and I'm like, what? This seems kind of insane.
About that. I actually am very, very sorry about that. I didn't really think of this through at all. I'll be completely honest. I'll go off script and let you know right now that I regret doing this whole thing. I am proud of how this video has turned out and what I learned, but I kind of wish I didn't do it because I did not expect the reaction that I got, and I feel incredibly guilty, and I am very sorry.
I feel like for something like this, you have to be so on it when it comes to methodology if you want to prove any sort of point. Otherwise, it just seems like you're trolling everybody for like clicks to be like, yeah, see, I tricked you. So yeah, people believed you because they believe you. You know, people trusted you. And now they won't.
But I did it, so let's talk about it.
I can't tell you how I know. Do with this information what you will.
I worded what I said on the podcast very carefully. I didn't say where my information came from. I didn't even say how I knew. I said quite literally, I can't tell you how I know. And I said that on purpose for two reasons. One, I wanted people's imaginations to run wild. I wanted to know how the media would interpret that if it did go viral. And two, I was lying. So,
I don't know how much of that is true. That's everything I heard. And I never get information.
And I know what some people are gonna say. Some people are gonna say, oh sure, now it's some big social experiment. Now you're trying to help stop leaks. You know, all of a sudden, you know, if I was smart, I would have immediately after the podcast pre-recorded something saying like, oh, this is my intention, you know, so that now, when making this video, I could show that clip to prove that that actually was what I was planning on doing the whole time. But, you know, too bad I didn't do
I just did an episode of my podcast, and on that podcast, I told everybody that I knew about a Nintendo Direct that's coming next month in July. I was lying.
You were lying?
I was lying, yeah. I just wanted to see if I gave a bunch of crazy leaks, like I had information and I buried it within a podcast, if anybody online would pick it up.
See, I believe that that's where this started from, and then it's been like figuring out how to make it into something that's actually useful. So I believe that, yeah, he didn't, like, he was lying about it. I agree. Like he was intentionally testing the waters and seeing what people do with it, but I think this could have been way more effectively done to have like an actual impact.
Like if anybody tweets about it, if any articles are made,
headlines.
You know, YouTuber beat 'em ups, 2 million subs, leaks, or says he has insider info. Witcher 3 Nintendo Switch 2 edition is coming soon.
Also,
Animal Crossing reveal on the.
See, I think there's two sides of this where I think you can actually perhaps take some key information away from it. For one, if there's an outlet that runs with this and says The Witcher 4 coming to Switch 2 based on what he says, or like, you know, the Nintendo Direct is happening next week, and they just run with that, that's a problem within the headlines. But almost all of the ones that he showed in this first like 2 minutes were clips of people saying YouTuber beat 'em ups says this, which is factually true. I mean, that is I don't blame them. I don't think they did anything wrong by reacting to what a big YouTuber claimed was true in a podcast. Like, shame on them for believing you and trusting you. You know, like, if somebody takes it and runs with it, ignoring the source, then that's a separate issue. And then you can talk about the outlet being, you know, willing to just run with something that's not super credible. But if the outlet is saying, hey, this is coming from a YouTuber, this is what he said, take it with a grain of salt. They're just reporting on what happened. I don't think anything's wrong there. Like, not everyone believed him. They just repeated what he said. Yeah, like, I don't see anything at that point. I think I don't think they did anything wrong. If they are taking it and then they just say, and I also heard from my source that this is true, then obviously they're lying too, because this was made up. So then you could take something from it, but like, is that really that helpful?
Horizon.
I think we're gonna get it.
If I can data mine any of the info to stop leaks in the future, I'm going to then release this so you know that I didn't know and that I was just making it up. I'm sorry for the lie itself. I really am. Specifically to the people that listen to my podcast, who I feel the most guilt for. But if you'll stick with me, I actually did learn a lot about how leaks spread, why people believe leaks, and more importantly, I actually think I've come up with some answers on how we can stop the spread of leaks, specifically fake leaks and misinformation moving forward.
Again, like, I'm interested to hear his thought. So the spread and talking about where everybody is running through it. Psychology, what can we do? What can we do? I mean, I'm not even sure we need to go through this stuff with, like, because it did spread. I'm interested in what his conclusion is. But again, like, I think the main takeaway is that you just, like, you make fun of and point out when people run with fake leaks that should have been pretty easily verified as false, or unjustified leaks and coverage and stuff. You make fun of them if they're doing that, but I don't think anything's wrong with talking about a massive YouTuber that until 5 days ago had a really strong and sturdy reputation for not spreading false stuff. And I don't think anybody did anything wrong by running with that and saying, hey, this is what he's saying, you know? Like, I don't think they did anything wrong. But let's see his solution, because I don't want to just go through the whole video completely. It'll take 3 hours. But let's see what his solution is to all of this.
So, it's not like we can beg the people that post leaks, fake or otherwise, to pretty please just stop doing it. I mean, that's never gonna happen. Well, I already mentioned that you could try to verify the source, especially when that source is so publicly available, but that's not always possible. And it also doesn't always mean that you're gonna get a reply as soon as you wanna make a video. So instead, in the same vein, let's take a look at how my leak was described online. In fact, throughout this video, I've actually been intentionally referring to what I did as a leak. In fact, I think I've said the word leak at least 50 times so far, and none of you probably even batted an eye, because that's what I did, right? I leaked something. Except I didn't. I can't tell you how I know. Do with this information what you will.
How do you know?
I can't tell you. I just said I can't tell you how I know. I don't know how much of that is true, and I never get information. I'm skeptical. Don't take my word for it. I didn't leak it.
Yeah, but again, like, when you have a big platform and years of building a reputation, that will run with it, you know? And that, I think, is in and of itself a piece of credibility, because people are assuming that if it's total nonsense, you wouldn't have said it in the first place, you know? Like, if I get an email, I'm like, hey, look at this fake leak I got. This guy claims that his dad is working on Fallout 7 right now, and he thinks this and this and it's going to happen, and it's going to be a Halo crossover and blah, blah, blah. That's one thing. If you're like, hey, check out this fake thing I've got. I'm 99.9% sure it's fake. That's one thing. But if you're saying, I have a source, can't tell you about the source, but this is what he said. Don't take my word for it. It's the anonymous source, but this is everything that's happening. I never get leaks, but, you know, I'm still running with this, which should tell you that it's probably, you know, believable. That's That's a whole other thing. There's a difference between a leak and a rumor. That's the key, though, and I think that's what he's trying to distinguish between, is that he's phrasing it as a leak. Effectively, you know, maybe you say leaks have to have a verified source, and then it's like it becomes a leak. It gets upgraded from rumor to leak. But when the source is like somebody with a good reputation that is saying, trust me, bro, effectively, and trust me that the source is valid, that's a separate issue. And I know he could say, well, but I never said the source was verified, and I never said the source was trustworthy. I get that. But I think the big component of this that's not being accounted for in this equation that's been built out is, again, having a 2 million sub YouTube channel and having not done a lot of leak discussions, not being a leaker yourself. The fact that you are going out on a limb talking about this and spreading this, even though you're not saying the leak is legitimate or the info is legitimate, that brings with it inherent credibility, you know? Like, that brings with it something that I don't think he realized when he started this.
Anything.
You should fake a leak too, would be very funny. I would do it differently. Like, if I was trying to call out fake leaks and stuff and people running with nonsense, I would not post it myself, because I think if Luke Stevens posts on his main channel, I have an exclusive breaking news story. I don't even know what it would be. I don't even know what I would do. The next Assassin's Creed game is set on the moon. And I put that out there. Like, that will bring with it its own
Logan Levesque
thing, you know?
$10 through
Thank you, Logan.
DSP versus S. P1 rate software. Neither can leave the room until one of them admits they're wrong.
Oh, yeah, I saw.
Who leaves first? Also, this dude is a dunce. He sounds like a bored house wife.
I did see that meme of DSP versus Pirate Software. I will say the pig roach never dies, so I think he'd be totally. I think he would live forever. I think he'd be totally fine. FPS Nugget, thank you for the 5. YouTuber Luke Stevens confirmed Fallout 7 to take place on Halo Ring and Star Master Chief. He confirmed it, dude. Exactly. I think that's a component. Like, you have to acknowledge is that the person spreading the rumor brings a certain level of credibility or lack thereof. If it's from a well-known guy that makes up tons of stuff, you're not going to take it very seriously. But if it's from a big YouTube channel or a big streamer or something that has a good reputation for not spreading nonsense, that in and of itself is like credibility boosting for the source, even if the source isn't known.
MNC Llama donated $19.99 through Super Chat.
Thank you.
The most interesting part of it, Emo, is that the leak hit Reddit and people made fake-looking docs with his list, and it took about 2 days for him to stop being credited, and it just had a life of its own and fake email docs.
Yeah, and see, that is legitimately hilarious. And so, let me see if I have that. Where is it? And so this, I think, is a snippet. I think this is a snippet of what you're talking about. Thank you for the 20. Because earlier in the video, when he's going through the spreading, this is where it like separates from him.
From Beat 'em Ups over on the Nintendo podcast.
Oh God, what have I done?
It's interesting that he said this because he has apparently an insider information.
I never said that.
On the Nintendo podcast. So
Well, he said apparently he has insider information. If you're spreading a leak, it's sort of implied that you have information from somebody on the inside. And he said apparently he has insider information. I understand you never said I have insider information, but it's heavily, heavily, heavily suggested if you are claiming to have information from the inside that you have insider information. Like, you know what I mean? So I guess we could be nitpicky.
said that he had an unidentified source.
I did not say that.
Wood said that he had a source.
No, I didn't.
Well, you said I can't tell you where the information is coming from, but you're saying stuff. I don't know, man. I feel like this just wasn't thought through before. As he said, I don't think this was thought through before he started. And so it's like, yeah, you never said explicitly, I have an inside source, but you provided information suggesting that this was like happening and people were taking it, and the clear inference from that is that you got the information about insider events and happenings from somebody that is aware of that, which is literally what's termed as like an insider. And so I understand, like, you didn't say it word for word, but it's what's built into the claim and the assertion of it. Just gives me a headache. Gives me a headache, this whole thing. You know, forgot about the implication. Well, there's certain things that are going to be, whenever you say anything, like, you just have to be aware that there's going to be what is said word for word, but people do not watch YouTube videos or podcasts or streams or clips or anything as if they are in a courtroom arguing in front of the Supreme Court, where every word has to be super precise. That's just not how human beings are. So even though you did not say, I have an inside source, you said, I can't tell you the source. I don't know the source. I don't know. I can't say where this information came from. Even though you said that stuff and you didn't claim anything specific, there are heavy implications, which I think are reasonable for someone to go with, especially, again, when the source of all of this, which is the YouTuber in question, Beat 'em Ups, when they have a big channel and a good reputation, that in and of itself builds in a certain amount of credibility, which, you know, is why I think this would have been more interesting if it came from an anonymous source posted on like a subreddit or 4chan or something like that. That's more compelling, I think, than like a massive YouTube channel doing it, you know?
Why?
I can't tell you the source implies there is a source. Well, and I mean, nobody is going to think that you would just make this up. So, like, I don't think it's fair to be like, well, but I did make it up. But they thought I had a source. Well, yeah, nobody thought you would just lie. No, and I think that's reasonable for someone to conclude if you're making a video that you're not just making it up. Nobody thought that this was like some big social experiment. They would have no reason to think it would be.
He says he can't spill how he knows, but he's confident.
I said I wasn't confident.
Yeah, that is legitimately fair. He said he was not confident. Yeah, that's a fair one.
I'm skeptical. Don't take my word for it.
Apparently, Nintendo is going to have a big Nintendo Direct in July.
Okay, that I did say. I did say that.
And his podcast partner was like, "Oh yeah, he believed it as well." So, and then we'll break it.
I want to stress this. Bingle is not part of this. Please don't rope him in like he was part of the lie. He had no idea. This is all me. He had no idea. That man is not going down with me for this. In 2026.
People are gonna lose their minds.
Boom! AC that early.
If he's wrong, I will beat him up. Honestly, you get one free punch.
We have our first Nintendo Direct rumor for the month of July, which...
Oh, this one's sad. This one's sad. Crossing channel. Oh, it's all about Animal Crossing. Oh, it's so wholesome, and they just got so excited that I said Animal Crossing.
Suggests we will...
Nintendo, please announce Animal Crossing next month.
But this one might have a little bit more credibility than...
for crying out loud.
Yeah, it has credibility because you have a massive channel and a reputation. Like, that, it is part of it.
What we've seen in...
I don't even want to hit play. I'm not even looking. He's not even on camera and I can't look.
Another Nintendo YouTuber, one that I actually follow. They've made a lot of really interesting content.
Dude, this would make me feel so freaking bad if I try. I totally get what he's feeling. I can only imagine. It is so wholesome. And he's like, and I'm a fan of him too. And you're just like, oh.
And I honestly can't see why they would lie about this at all. They have nearly 2 million
Exactly. I don't think it's reasonable for someone to look at what was said on the podcast and go, he's really cagey. I think he's making all of this up as a social experiment. I don't think it's reasonable to do that. I think given all of the information at the time, it is reasonable rather to conclude that this is a big channel that doesn't typically talk about leaks, and he's going out on a limb claiming these things, saying, I can't tell you the source, I can't tell you any of that stuff, implying there is a source. And so, you know, it's probably worth discussing. He wouldn't just lie. Yeah, this was a pretty bad idea. I think it started as, I just want to see what happens. And I really think that was like the extent of the thought that went into it. And he kind of alluded to that. He's like, I really didn't think this through too much. And you can see it here is I think that this just got way out in front of him. I think if you're going to fake leaks or something, especially as like a big channel with a reputation to uphold, there's got to be like a broader strategy. Yeah, I feel like going out swinging like this was not well planned.
Subscribers, they really have no need to get the clout or whatever like a lot of leakers do, and they suggest that we will be seeing a direct in July.
Crossing channel, I love you. I am so sorry.
Hello guys, today about the
The cough into the microphone is classic. I remember starting on YouTube and thinking I had to do everything in a single take for some reason. So I'd go for like a 7-8 minute video and trying to talk all the way through. And it's like, you can cut that out, you know? You can cut that out, you realize.
You can do a second take. Okay. Oh. I've been looking at all of this for an hour. I can't do it anymore. But this had gone so viral. People were tweeting about the leak and not even mentioning me. 200,000 views and 4,000 likes.
Yeah, see, this is a problem. I would absolutely agree. It's somebody on X, shocker, just saying, new Nintendo Direct rumor has surfaced detailing a July Direct that includes the return of Pokemon Colosseum and more. Witcher 3 Switch 2 edition, Metroid Prime 4, Animal Crossing 2026 teaser, and they just run with this. And this is very common on X. They'll link the source sometimes underneath in a pinned comment, or I guess not pinned comment, but in a comment, reply, whatever. This is a very big thing that happens all over X, and I'm sure Threads and Blue Sky and everywhere else that's in the same format. I don't really know what else to say about it, then it's a problem, but it's not a problem just with these leaks. It's a problem more broadly just in social media, that they'll just say something and send it out there. And I don't think there's really anything that can be done about it, you know, per se, but it shows the dangers of just asserting random stuff is that people will believe it.
Now, okay, the source is linked in the description,
yeah, okay.
But that only has 10,000 views, which means most people didn't see that. And
yeah, the vast majority of people are just scrolling past. Yeah, to be fair, I would guess 100,000 of those 200,000 views probably didn't even read the text on it. They just scrolled past it. So, you know, never believe the X view count number. It's a little deceiving. It's the same thing with like TikTok and YouTube short view counts. It's like, there's a reason. You know, we jokingly call it Monopoly views. It's like Monopoly money. It's like, yeah, 100,000 views on X is worth maybe like 500 on YouTube. You know, it's not the same thing.
And 4,000 likes. Now, okay, the source is linked in the description, but that only has 10,000 views, which means most people didn't see that. And that's when I realized I wasn't even needed anymore. Another one here, one from Obi Plays. Again, just sharing like the rumor itself and not the source. At this point, today and yesterday has turned into just, here are the rumors, here are the leaks, here's what...
Yeah, it certainly devolves. Absolutely.
Avery V donated $50 through Super
Booyah!
Chat. Hi.
Gee whiz, Avery. Thank you. My goodness. Thank you. That's ridiculously generous. Appreciate you, my friend. Appreciate you. You get one of these. You ready? Ready? What's up? Thanks. Just for you, baby. Just for you. Just a little, hey, what's up? How you doing? There you go. Thank you for the 50. That's wonderful. But yeah, this, I mean, I feel like we didn't need to do a whole social experiment for this. I mean, we know people run with rumors all the time. You know, like this is pretty well known, I feel.
What's happening with no accreditation to whoever it is that's leaking it.
Yeah, but this is why ultimately the people posting the information have, I think, a fiduciary duty to check the source themselves. That's true of the people in question here, Obi Plays, the Game Post, all these people that are listed on X, they have a fiduciary duty to their followers and people listening to them to check the source. Just like the person that makes the initial claim has a duty to check with their source and verify it. Like everybody all the way down the chain has responsibility to check the sources and to not spread information they think is false. But that again is why this whole experiment, I think, is kind of moot, because it largely ignores the fact that by being a massive channel and having a good reputation, that brings with it credibility, because nobody is going to think he's just lying about this for an experiment. Nobody is going to think that. And so of course they're going to run with it and believe that it's more believable, you know? Like I think that that's a component of this equation that was just not thought about before it started. And so I think the whole experiment is kind of, you can kind of discard it, because it ignored the reality that by being a massive channel, people will just naturally conclude that you used your platform and all of that. You have the duty to your audience to not spread nonsense, and so you checked with the source, and you wouldn't be saying it if it was just totally made up, you know?
So now the leak has a life of its own. Now it's just escalating. At first, when I started this experiment, I was worried. I thought, oh, I've tainted this. How did I not realize that of course my leak was going to go viral, because it's me. This isn't some random anonymous person leaking something on 4chan somewhere. This is Wood from Beat 'em Ups leaking it on his podcast.
Yep.
Of course people were gonna believe me. I'm the Nintendo guy.
Yeah.
I thought me being the one to leak it would ruin the...
I'm glad we went back into the video. I'm glad we watched this. Thank you to whoever said we needed to do that. Thank you.
experiment in that way. But it was at this point, when I was seeing tweets being spread around not even mentioning me, that I realized the leak at this point is spreading without me anyway.
But I think that there's a leap here. It's spreading without you now because it started with you. If this were like randomly posted on 4chan, I don't think anyone would have started with this. I don't think you would have had any of the videos made. I don't think any of this would have started if it were just an anonymous post on 4chan. It snowballed to the point where now they're running without you because it had built to the point where it was a snowball. But it wouldn't have even gotten there if it hadn't started with you on your big platform, you know?
That meant that the
yeah, you were the prime mover. Yeah.
variable of me was removed.
Yes.
And that
but being removed means that you were there initially.
is where this experiment can finally begin.
No. The experiment is, I think, invalidated because the foundation of it was ruined and rotten. You know, I don't think you can build the house that is the experiment upon this sandy foundation. Like, I think because of the fact that it started with you, nothing else can follow from it. It's like the fruit of the poison tree, where you know, if you start with a faulty assumption or premise, everything else that follows is therefore, like, you can't work with it. It's nonsense. If I'm like starting an argument over what is the best video game of all time, and I'm like, okay, at the start of my argument, I will assert as an axiom that The Witcher 3 is the best game ever made. Now, let's discuss what's the best game. It's like, okay, well, we started on something that I don't think you can start on, so now everything that follows doesn't hold true, you know? Yeah, the fruit of the poison or poisonous tree, yeah. Or poison vine, I think. In legalese, it's a legal thing where, like, if the cops search your house, at least in the States, this is how it works. If the cops search your house, but they didn't have a warrant or didn't have reasonable cause or whatever, or if they're like interrogating you and you ask for a lawyer and they ignore that and still get you to confess something, because you had invoked a lawyer, everything that follows from that cannot be used in court because they were not allowed to continue that pursuit. So even if you confess to the crime, they found the body of the person you killed because of your confession, because you asked for a lawyer, and they were not allowed to keep going at that point. The body being found, all of that information can be deemed inadmissible in court because the premise, the starting point was rotten, so nothing else can follow. So yeah, I just fundamentally disagree that this is where the experiment starts. I think because of how you started it, the whole thing is kind of tossed out, you know, because I don't think you would have gotten to the point where it even spread at all without you unless it started with you. So I'd like to see this experiment repeated, but with an anonymous source posted on 4chan or something. Then I think that's more interesting and compelling. Like the fact people believed you because you're a big YouTuber, I don't think we can do much with that. But let's see, continuing on, how he recommends fixing it.
A rumor. A leak is something much more tangible, more real. Like, you remember when the photos of the Switch 2 shell and design and motherboard and everything got posted online from the factory? That's a leak. Or like,
yeah, because it's a verified, I think, source, and it's the fact that they have manufactured items and people who know what they're doing can verify, yeah, this is an actual PCB. This is actual, like, the molding would be $100,000 to mold all of this plastic specifically for this leak. Like, if it's fake, it's a ridiculously expensive one. It's more reasonable to believe that it's true, you know.
When footage of The Last of Us 2 gameplay was circulating online well before the game released, that's a leak.
Yeah, because you can verify it. Yeah. Yeah, if it's not verifiable, you know, or if you don't have really, really good reason to believe that it's real, then I think it's a potential leak. You know, there was, for example, there were leaks back in the day. Now we know they were leaks, but there were leaks back in the day. I want to say maybe 2016. Maybe, yeah, these. For like Starfield. These pictures came out back in like 2016, 17 or something. Let me see. Is this the original article? No, this is 2020, so maybe even later. But 2020, you can see this artwork that was revealed online. This, which of course now we know is real, actual snippets from Starfield. They have the logo, which hadn't been revealed yet, the unique UI elements, the ships, everything. This was an actual in-game, you know, in development leak. But in this case, you can see the alleged leaked images show a ship in pretty convincing in-game screenshot, because again, it would be really, really, really high effort for somebody to fake this. It passes the gut check, certainly. It looks like the creation engine. And now we know it's real. But even back then, they were calling it an alleged leak, which is, I think, what a responsible reporting outlet would do. So yeah, I agree there's a difference between leaks and rumors.
What I did, it was a rumor. And if you think I'm just splitting hairs here, I'm not. I really do feel like definition is important here, and I think all of the news journalism articles felt the same way, because all of the articles and even the Reddit thread, and even when Stealth covered the Reddit thread, they all used the word rumor. But every single YouTuber said it was a leak. And I want to be clear, I'm not blaming anyone, because before this experiment, I would have 100% done the same thing, because I didn't really understand the difference in the definition. I never really thought about it like that. But that's where fake rumors become fake leaks, and you accidentally end up misleading the public. I'm really not trying to call anybody out here, because again, would have done the same thing. But I do think this is a key moment here, and it's even reflected.
But again, it's I'm just getting frustrated at this point. I don't know if I can do much more. It's funny. Apology tour. It's got an entire segment on it. I don't think you can do much of anything with this, because again, the reason that they elevated it in their minds from rumor to leak is because of your reputation, channel size, all of that. So yeah, if it were posted on 4chan, I think they would have said, yeah, anonymous rumor suggests we could get this. But because of who you are and your platform and everything, people naturally elevated it up. I think that's what happened. So unfortunately, like I don't really know what else to say. it's just, I feel like this whole thing was built on such a broken foundation that you can't really conclude anything from it. Like, because it does not, like, I think his fundamental misunderstanding, like up here, as he says, is that it was spreading because of him. It started because of his channel. That's the only reason people were talking about it. But then eventually it started spreading without him. That's true. But it wouldn't have gotten to that point unless he was the one that started it. So if he restarted this whole experiment with an anonymous leak and was able to demonstrate the same thing happening, people claiming anonymous 4chan post claims, you know, a crazy new leak for a July showcase. That's one thing. I think you can conclude much more from that. But in this case, I think the whole experiment is kind of a moot point because it just was set up on some a faulty assumption that it's the same thing. Yeah, the weirdest thing is that somehow I avoided all of this. Yeah. Builds a reputation for being reliable, used it to spread a rumor. I can't believe they trusted me. Well, exactly. Definitely should have ended with, but having said all that, I did hear a rumor that there's a direct coming in August. That would have been funny. The leak versus rumor distinction is such a valid observation. The word leak is way overused. I can agree with that. Don't take my word for it, internet. I'm feeling very trusting today. Again, you can say that. It's a common turn of phrase, unfortunately. But when you have 2 million subs, again, people will assume that, and you can say, well, they shouldn't assume. Assuming makes an ass out of you and me. I get it. I understand that. But like, are you really going to say shame on you for believing me after watching my videos for years? Like, it's just natural that people are going to do that. So yeah, I think it maybe could have been a really fun experiment. Like I pointed out earlier with that whole thing that the one guy did with the like culture warring YouTuber, anti-woke YouTuber, getting him to report on an AC Shadows delay when it was just totally made up and showing that he wouldn't vet his sources. I think that is legitimately very funny and is a good way of showcasing and scaring YouTubers to be like, you should check your sources. Otherwise this could happen to you too. That I think is a more reasonable way of doing this, to demonstrate that you need to check sources and you shouldn't just run with something because somebody said it. But concluding anything from this experiment, I think is next to impossible, because it just, I don't think it would have happened to begin with. I don't know. Yeah. His entire logic is so flat. Well, I don't, and I think like he alluded to a few times, I don't think he jokingly said, half jokingly, I think said, I didn't think this through. I don't have a master plan for this. I just wanted to see what would happen. I think that's true. I don't think he actually did like have a grand scheme of how he wanted to do it. You want to know somebody that has like a master plan that enacts it? You saw the whole like Ethan Klein H3H3 thing where he set up all of those streamers to react to his content nuke on Hassan. And he registered his video with the Library of Congress beforehand and like kind of lured them into reacting to his video so that he could sue them for not being transformative. Like, that's a master plan. Love it or hate it, he went through those steps to set it up. He thought through what he wanted to do, and then he executed the plan. Whether you like that or not, like he had his plan and he went through it. I think in this case, I don't think there was any plan. I think it was just like, I'm going to say this on my podcast and see what happens. And like, that's literally the extent of it. You know, I think it could have gone, if there was more of a plan, it could have been interesting, but I don't think there was. And the fact that halfway through the video is the realization, wait, this is only spreading because of me. It's like, that should have been like number one. Like that should have been step one. You know? Just anyway, interesting video. I do think that there is room for an experiment like this that could be really interesting, honestly. To kind of put something out there and see how it spreads. But I think you have to have a better methodology and you got to plan for it, understanding like how big of a role your channel and your reputation plays. Yeah. Regardless of what you think of Ethan, that was a chat. I mean, it was a very because who else was he? Didn't he sue somebody else for a reaction thing like years ago? I don't know. What again? Love Ethan or hate Ethan, he knows how to use lawyers. I'll tell you what, he knows how to use lawyers. It definitely knows what you need to do. Let's see. A minute of silence for the Animal Crossing guy. Dude, I would feel so bad for him. I feel so bad for him. He was so excited. And then it's like, yeah, I lied to you. Sorry. It's just, oh, man. Razor Cat, thank you for the membership, by the way. Ashton, thank you for the 2. Do you think we see Wukong DLC soon? Almost a year. I honestly don't know what their current plan is. I know they've gotten a crap ton of money thrown at them after the success of that game. So they might do a massive DLC. They might just roll everything forward into a sequel. I don't know, but they got a lot of options for sure. Yeah. Can you answer a question? Not in all caps. No. And let's see, I got that one. The Beard Machine, thank you for 8 months. Ooh, baby. Thank you, my friend. And Mr. Whiskey Face. I relate to that. I'm Scottish. I've got the Scottish blood, so I get whiskey face real good. Real good, real quick. Get super blushed, you know. You can always tell when I'm feeling good after a few drinks because I look like I just came out of a sauna. And then Seafoam, I think 94. Thank you for the sub with Prime. Thank you, my friend. CD Media also thank you for the sub with Prime. It's kind of nice seeing people excited for Battlefield again. It truly seems that people are genuinely sick of how Call of Duty is just 420 Fortnite. People yearn to be faceless cogs in the war machine, not American dad smoking weed with a purple skin gun. Yeah, I think it's just at this point, COD has transitioned so much into just like slightly more mature Fortnite that people like woke up and just realized when they saw the Battlefield 6 trailer, they're like, oh, right, that's what these games used to be like. You know, I think that there genuinely is a desire for it. And I think the older audience will connect with it a lot if they execute well. The younger audience, I think, you know, they're playing Call of Duty. They like it. They play Warzone. They play Fortnite. They play all those games. But I think the older audience is looking for something a little more mature, a little more meaty, dare I say. Let's see. Sorry, I had to respond to something. We're getting things sorted for something super exciting and secret. Can't wait to tell you. Let's see, where did I leave off? There's this weird covering up for Woods from other creators. If this weird carrying for him and this apprehensiveness just call out his gaslighting and insulting apology. I mean, I don't know how other people have reacted to it. I think he started thinking that this would be a fun experiment, and then he just literally did not think it through, and then realized very quickly that this was a bad idea. And then I think by that point it was too late. You can't unring the bell. So I think he started being like, I'm going to help the industry by figuring out how leaks spread. And that is literally the extent of it. And then it just blew up and he was like, oh crap. Yeah, I don't think it was malicious. I think it was probably just stupid, which we've all done stupid things. But yeah, I just think it was not well thought through. You know, like good methodologies, look at like Gamers Nexus, okay? Like their methodologies for testing computers and components and stuff, or when they cover like some of the crap that goes down in the industry, whether it's with Newegg or some of these PC manufacturers, they know what they're doing. Like they have a very clear methodology of what they're going through. They're like, we didn't believe them because they said this, and we have these sources that say this, and they have the full paper trail. That's how you have to do it. That's how you have to do it. But this was just kind of like fly by the seat of my pants, figure it out as we go. And that's not how you do an experiment, you know, where you can actually take something away from it, you know. Love from the southwest of France. Yeah, much love to you too. I'd love to visit southwest of France. That sounds wonderful. Sounds beautiful. Sounds beautiful. Are you calling me old? I think we're all old. I think we're all old. Again, little quick thing to make you feel really old, okay? Just a little something, This is our timeline, right? 2011. Skyrim comes out. Okay. Fast forward the clocks. 2018. Elder Scrolls 6 is revealed. 7 years between these, right? 7 years. It is now 2025. We are past the summer. So we are now at the point where a solid, technically more time, or just about as much time, has passed from the announcement of Elder Scrolls 6 to the reveal of Elder Scrolls from Skyrim. Figure that one out. Figure that one out. We're all old, okay? We're all old. It's like, it's a lot of ridiculousness. Yep, we're all very old. Speaking of Todd, though, should we talk about that? We actually have 2 stories related to this, which is kind of interesting. Okay. New segment. Ooh, I'm running low on time. I gotta see if Jor is able to do the podcast early. Oh, I left the thing on. Okay, so how do I want to lead into this? New segment. Well, every day, I can't talk. Well, everybody, it's another day ending in the letter Y, as I like to say. So we got to talk about Starfield. Turns out there is an actual qualitative update that seems to be in the works. Now, as you know, they've not done anything in a year, just about. When Shattered Space launched, that did not go over super well, and then they went radio silent. They've released pretty much nothing but paid mods and stuff like that. But they said back in March they have exciting things coming, but they really have not revealed much of anything at this point. We don't know. However, there have been some people scrubbing the code, thousands of lines of code by hand, to see if they can find anything interesting. And somebody over on Reddit actually did find something. Now, what's interesting, though, is that the subreddit... Ooh, they posted it up again. It was deleted, but now it's back. So, as you can see, Zealous Ideal Buyer 7 posted this. Credit to XTC Refugee, looking through thousands of lines of code based on their findings. Looks like Bethesda dev team is working on proper space travel in upcoming updates. What they found were lines of code that specifically referred to a couple of tags and variables that were previously not in the game. So specifically, on-ship cruise arrival, player ship, check arrival, debug trace, arrived if out of cruise mode, start global hail timer, unregistered remote event player ship, on player cruise arrival, unregistered for menu, open close event fader menu. They also have this on ship cruise arrival, triggered when a ship arrives in cruise mode. Is ship cruise enabled? Disables the player's ability to cruise in spaces. They have multiple references to cruise, as you can see all over this, all over the code. This is for space travel, not seamless space to surface travel. First image shows that after exiting cruise mode, a random space encounter can be triggered. Small patch has been updated that removed all instances of this, since apparently it got leaked. So they, after this dropped this morning, they went in and deleted these chunks out of the code, and so you can't find it anymore. However, or I guess it's 23 hours ago, so it's technically yesterday. But what could this be referring to? What could this be referring to? Well, likely means Tom Cruise is going to be in the game. You're right. That is technically what it means. No, I think most likely what this is it's a fleshed out version of what some mods have been doing, actually. So, for example, let me pull this up. There is a mod called Astrogate that allows you to go seamlessly from planet to planet. So as you can see here, I think they're going to try it. This is kind of how it works. At least the mod, where you go and you are in the planet's atmosphere, you spin around, and you basically select your target destination somehow. Again, this is the mods. This is not what BGS's version will necessarily look like. But as you can see, they kind of pull up, they aim at the target location or planet or whatever, and then they activate it, and you will see sort of a seamless travel. Now, it's technically not seamless. They're just putting a video of the transition over the load screen that typically pops up to cover it up, which is how a lot of this works anyways. I mean, I'm not saying that's necessarily a bad thing. They're just covering it better. So this plays out, and then this is over the load screen, what would typically be the load screen menu, and then it closes and you warp out of the jump. So this replaces what you previously had to do, which is opening multiple menus, going through like 3 or 4 different menus to fast travel, you know, through the systems to get to where you wanted to go. So it would allow for seamless travel. Cruise mode is expected to probably be something similar. Maybe you can just set up a cruise mode, something where you aim at the planet, you hit cruise mode, it starts going super fast at light speed or 5x light speed, whatever they want to end up doing. And that's how they do it. We don't know much more beyond that, though. I mean, if you recall back when the game launched, you technically can fly between them. Whoops. Press the... Sometimes you start typing and then it doesn't actually, like, fill it in. Starfield travel between planets, and I think it was Alana. It was like NHA, maybe? I think.
I spent 7 hours flying from space to a planet in Starfield. Here's what happened when I actually got there. Ooh.
Just clip inside it.
Flat. We just went right through it. Wait, but it still says 0. Hang on. Am I inside Pluto? What happens if I turn around from here?
Basically what she did was she left it to fly towards Pluto for 7 hours. She woke up about every 30 minutes. She did it, I think, overnight. But she let it fly towards Pluto and just got up to check it every 30 minutes because the planets actually do rotate around the sun. So you have to actually adjust your course every once in a while. But when she finally arrived, there was this big 2-dimensional picture of the planet. Or like, I don't know if it's actually 2-dimensional. It's probably like a sphere. But once she got there, she just clips into it because it's just a picture. It's not actually the planet like you would see in like when you load into the little cell. It's just a massive picture basically. But they are technically floating through space. And, you know, the physics gets weird because the engine just isn't really equipped to handle it. But there is technically something way out there that is holding the place of Pluto, technically. So what is expected is that this code alludes to a cruise mode that will allow you to set the ship to cruise and go between planets. Now, the other option for this, which is much less exciting, just being real, is that this is just a mode that you can toggle onto your ship that allows it to travel towards a planet, and then you get up from the captain's seat and you can do things within your ship without having to have the ship stay completely still. What is the practical usefulness of that? I don't think there would be one unless, because, you know, the fish bowls are so small by default, unless it were something that allows you to travel between planets. I don't know. Less exciting means this is what we're getting.
Logan Levesque donated $10 through Super Chat. Jokes aside, Starfield is an embarrassment. This is Todd's dream game. He's got a bigger crew, more money than God, and Xbox. This is this best they could shish 1T out? Absolutely pathetic.
Yeah, I just think Starfield is a prime example of biting off more than you can chew. I think they had some good ideas, but they just did not have the tech to do it. And by the time they realized that it was not going to be the game that they kind of dreamed it being, it was way too late. Like Todd saying that they could only find the fun in 2021. It was supposed to release in 2022. So what the hell happened? Like, I just, they didn't let it cook enough. Dude, it was in development. Like Fallout 76 came out in 2018. It was in development for 5 full years. It was supposed to be out after 4. And it seems like they delayed it basically an entire year to polish and try and fix it up, make it run better. But yeah, dude, it just wasn't one that clicked. It just didn't click. In my opinion, that it was only Todd's dream. I can't see the passion game from the devs. Well, I think for Emil, it was also a passion, but yeah, I think it was specifically Todd's dream game. I think that's what he wanted. I think that's really what he wanted. And if you watch the Starfield Saga video I did, that's like 8 hours long, in that I show forum posts from the 90s that you can still find of Todd talking about a space game. Like you can actually find those posts today, which is crazy. So if you want to go see that video, go watch it. It's just the Starfield Saga, Luke Stevens. Go check it out. But it's possible that this is literally just code for a mode that lets the ship travel and fly by itself while you are up and about inside the ship doing things. I honestly, again, I don't know what the point of that would be unless it's traveling somewhere far away. Because right now, the game's fish bowls that you spawn into, even in the ship, are so small, it takes you all of 15, 20 seconds to fly over to the space station over there in orbit around the planet. And so I just don't know why you would need a cruise mode unless you were able to travel between much greater distances. I don't know if that's what this is. I honestly am not sure, but I think it's possible, at the very least, that they found some way to open it up and allow for people to fly faster and farther and stuff, which would be good. I think that's a good improvement. It doesn't answer the other problem, and perhaps the primary problem people have with Starfield, which is that the locations and everything are just repeated too often, and so it gets boring really quickly because you're just doing the same thing over and over and over again. But if they're taking steps to add something like this, that is a potentially very good step forward. It's possible they also have some exciting things to share with the rest of the game to add all new POIs, all new sorts of quality of life improvements to really improve it. And here's the deal. I hope that this is all true. I hope this is all the case. Yes, I talk about Starfield a lot, but it's because I'm ultimately a fan of BGS games. I like they've made some of my favorite games of all time. And I really love their work. It's just I feel like they've been out of it. You know, they've been struggling for about a decade. And I feel like if they could get back on track, they could come out with some bangers to end, you know, Todd's career and everything. So I want them to make it better. And if they are taking these kinds of steps, I think they very well could be on their way towards fixing the game, or at least making it significantly better. Will it ever be a masterpiece? I don't think so, because I think the writing, for example, and the universe itself is just fundamentally kind of uninteresting. But I think that they could improve a lot of these mechanical things, and that could be a welcome change. So I hope they figure it out. I hope they figure it out and they can improve it. And when they do, I will praise them for it. But the fact that people are finding this, spreading it on social media, and they then went in and removed all instances of this, that to me suggests that maybe they're onto something. You know, they know what's coming. Yeah, interplanetary travel is navigating between two different planets in the same system. Based on how it's used in the code here, I would guess so. We already know all planets exist together in whatever 3D space constitutes a star system. It was just that ship speeds were too low to get from one planet to another without it taking a long-ass time, which is absolutely realistic since even light needs time to travel between planets, but it doesn't make for a compelling video game experience, which is absolutely true. And it's why I've said, like, there's a difference between realism and what's fun for a video game. You know, realistically, in an RPG, you should be stopping every, 6-8 hours to go to the bathroom, and you should have to sleep constantly. You might need to eat 2-3 meals a day. Like, that's what's realistic. Does that mean it's fun? No. Realistically, in a video game, if you sprint, you should get tired and maybe randomly pull a hamstring or twist your ankle running along a road with potholes in it. Is that fun? Not for a lot of people. So there's a difference between what's realistic and what's fun. And I feel like Starfield kind of mixed up the two on numerous occasions. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what they're doing here, because it seems like they actually are working on some system to allow the ship to travel great distances, allowing you to get up from your ship would be my guess, because that's what I think with Cruise. Or maybe Cruise is like, they're not phrasing it as jump mode or jump speed mode or anything to quickly do that. I'm guessing this is just going to be like an end game system to travel between planets within a solar system quickly. You get up from your ship, talk to companions, do crafting or something on your ship while you travel. Then you get up after the ship takes 5-6 minutes to travel to the destination, and then you're good. That's my guess. That's my guess. Key No Man's Sky. Yeah, I think they're adding these quality of life things, which I think will help. But ultimately, does it like win over No Man's Sky players? Probably not. But hey, an improvement is an improvement, and I'll give them that. You know, I'll give them that. It may not be my favorite thing, may not be the best fit, may not be perfect, but I'll give it to them when they deserve it, when they do something good. Good Todd. Good Todd. But now that we've talked about Good Todd, we have to do the next segment, which is Bad Todd. Bad Todd. For this, I may actually need to boot up a game real quick. Because honestly, I thought that this was already in this game that we're going to be talking about. I didn't realize it hadn't been added yet. Let's see. I gotta log into Steam again. My Steam Guard thing has been making me log out, log back in like 15 different times. It's infuriating. It's crazy. I don't know what the deal is. Okay. Okay. And then we'll boot up this one. Booyakasha. Downloading Steam Cloud saves. Okay, there we go. There we go. Howardology. Yes, indeed. Praise be. I also, this is freaking funny. I'm going to share with you something that I had forgotten about that is going to blow your mind. Real quick, Logan, unironically, Moist talked about something coming for Bloodborne. I can link the vid if need be. Oh, wait, was that like a little while ago? Because I vaguely remember something like that. Like somebody sending in a clip about it. To go from good Todd to bad Todd is so jarring. I'm sorry. So it looks like so this is something that's been discussed numerous times. Apparently Juicehead actually put out a video that's been taken and clipped into some articles, specifically about Fallout 4 getting official support for paid mods. After all this time, after releasing the next gen update that still has the game broken, they are going to update it seemingly, according to leaks, rumors, and speculation. They're going to update it by replacing the Creation Club with Creations, and Creations will then become the standard. Right now in Fallout 4, there is a Creation Club, okay? If you open the Creation Club, you can see all of these things. It's different like skins, it's Tunnel Snake's rule, that's funny. It's apparel items, it's stuff like this. But this is not what like Starfield has, okay? It's, I don't know why I own some of this. Did they give these away or something? I don't know. yeah, different skins for the dogs, all this stuff. But it's pretty minimal. It's pretty light. And even then, it's not using their full platform for the creations, which is, again, their paid mods system. It's like basic skins and stuff that I'm sure they can double up on with Fallout 76. But what looks to be happening is that BGS plans on updating the Creation Club to Creations, and that will basically replace the in-game store for Fallout 4 right in time for Season 2 of the show. So anybody who was like, ooh, maybe they drop like a surprise Fallout New Vegas for Season 2 of the show. No. This, I think, is much more likely their big fun announcement. I think, yeah, it's a new in-game store. You all play games, don't you? You love stores, don't you? What I find funny is that this is still after they broke the game with the next gen update. And you know, one of the stupidest things about this next gen update, this game is from Fallout 4 is from 2015. If you play it with too high of a frame rate, do you know what happens? Do you know what happens? The in-game time breaks. So all of the animations are way too fast because the game doesn't know how to calculate physics if your frame rate is too high, since the physics is tied to the frame rate. So if I play at 240 frames, this is what it looks like. And then all the physics are screwed up, so I can't like hardly jump. And it's tied to everything. Shoot. All of the reload animations are sped up. Everything is sped up. You even notice the load screen going into the in-game store is also screwed up because the frame rate's too high. So I looked it up. Apparently the only way to fix this is by going into the NVIDIA like control panel and then manually limiting the frame rate within Fallout 4 to like, I think people say at 120 it can be funky sometimes. Safest bet is to limit it to 60 FPS. I don't know, man. It's apparently like a well-known issue. And there are fixes for it. It's just you have to go and manually limit it, which is funny. So, and there's other things. Like, for example, the ultra-wide support on the next-gen update is still apparently busted. It's been, what, a year? Like, or mods. I think there's a mod that fixes it, yeah. Funny thing, the next-gen update also broke all of my mods. Shocker, I know. Stunning, right?
Jack
Total
donated
surprise.
$10 through Super Chat. Xbox needs to pry Fallout out of Todd Howard's hands. It's an embarrassment. I think if Outer Worlds 2 is received and sells well enough, they'll let them make New Vegas 2.
I don't think Obsidian at this point is equipped for a game like Fallout. I'm honestly not sure, because you got to remember, Obsidian of today is making games like Outer Worlds, Avowed. Like, they're making these smaller AA sized games. And I think when people are expecting and thinking about a potential new Fallout, they want like the full AAA treatment. And I don't know if Obsidian is capable of that nowadays. Like, making a big game like New Vegas back in 2010 was a very different undertaking than making a big AAA game now. It's just different. And I think expectations are higher. That's the other thing, is that, you know, expectations are higher, so people are going to demand more, but I don't think people realize their expectations are higher. Like, if they made just New Vegas or released it today, it would be crucified because of the technical issues and because of many broken elements that are still broken. Modders have done a lot to fix it, but let's not like lie to ourselves. New Vegas is it's a miracle it exists at all. They threw it together in 18 months, but it plays like a game that was thrown together in 18 months. It was thrown together and it's held together by duct tape. I think the Fallout franchise would certainly help it, but I do think that like expectations are a little bit higher nowadays when it comes to certain things like performance, when it comes to certain things like graphical fidelity and all of that. If they just did a remake of New Vegas, I think that would be a separate issue, and I think they could do that. But I don't think if Microsoft is looking at doing a remake of New Vegas. I think they have Virtuos do it. I don't think they have Obsidian do it. I think they'd rather Obsidian pump out another Avowed type game that they can market as a standard standalone release, and then they have Virtuos do what they did with the Oblivion remake, just put it in an Unreal wrapper basically and do it that way. So I think the odds of an Obsidian Fallout project are shockingly low. I think it's very, very low, very low. But as you can see with the article, this whole thing is expected to come, hopefully, with bug fixes and performance boosts, of course. And their hope is to probably have this out and updated for Season 2, which drops in December, with a setting shift to New Vegas, which may lead to New Vegas paid mods too. I don't think so, because does anybody actually know who is currently doing updates to New Vegas, if it ever gets any? I don't know when the last time New Vegas was updated on Steam, but I don't think it's BGS. I don't think so, and I don't think like Obsidian is handling introducing creations to New Vegas. I don't think they do that, but yeah. Okay, I will. Is it on PlayStation? I'm not sure. Unreal wrapper is what a condom should be called. Yeah, it stutters a lot though. Yeah, I mean, again, this is the other thing for us to we need to remember. Just because we think paid mods are stupid, just because we find it cringy, just because we don't like this or that, it doesn't mean that BGS feels the same way, and it does not mean that Todd feels the same way. It doesn't mean that Xbox feels the same way. We all assume that like the most obvious thing for them to do is to put Elder Scrolls 6 out and then to move on to Fallout 5. That may not be the obvious thing for Xbox. They may greatly prefer that they go and do like, you know, a Starfield in space always online game, like do Fallout 76 but Starfield. It may make more sense for them to go and do an in-house remake of Skyrim and fill it up with the creations system and all these extra paid mods and stuff like that, because that makes them a ton of money long term. Like you can't assume that the executives agree with us, you know. You just can't assume that. You just can't do that. Just can't do that, because chances are they don't agree with you. You know, chances are they don't. For them, it's about what will make the most money. And we know that the creations system, the paid mod system, makes them a lot of money, which is why they keep doing it. So why would they not push it even more? Like, why would they not say, okay, Todd, you got to really go balls to the walls? The other thing, and this is like a broader sort of meta thing to consider, when Microsoft laid off 9,000 people, they laid off a bunch of people in the gaming sector within Xbox. A lot of the teams, the majority of the teams by my count, that were laid off were actively engaging in negotiations to become unionized or were unionized. They specifically, for whatever reason, laid off teams that happened to be unionizing or unionized. You know who also is heavily unionized? Bethesda Game Studios. I think there very likely is a lot of extra pressure on Todd that if he doesn't want to have like some major shakeups, they need to keep revenue really high. It's like, if your revenue starts to drop, we're going to take care of that problem. Microsoft don't give two craps. Do you think Satya Nadella gives a crap about Fallout? No. He does not care at all. If he thinks he can save the company X number of dollars by getting rid of it and then giving Fallout to another developer so that he doesn't have to deal with the union stuff within BGS, he'll do that. Okay? Like, we're talking about one of the biggest companies in the world that is the prime definition of soulless corporation, okay? So never ever think, no, they're going to be immune to layoffs because, you know, they make Fallout. Never assume anything with this stuff, okay? But Satya wore a Halo shirt once. He cares about gaming. Satya told me he loves Fallout. I love Fallout. He has a very unique way of talking. It's very funny. So I think if anything, like Todd probably has extra pressure on him to deliver consistent and performant games that bring in a lot of money, because the second that the executives start to look at it and be like, yeah, we really don't like how expensive your team is. We really don't like how they're doing this, collective bargaining stuff. So we're going to take care of that. You gotta be, union busting is illegal. No. Yes, it is. It is. Well, I should clarify, because we're talking about multinational giga corporations. In many places, it is illegal. Yes. But as you saw, that does not mean it is therefore illegal to shut down an entire team that happens to be unionized. There would never be confirmation. Yeah, we fired these guys because they're in a union. They would never actually say that, but it's always, yeah, we just found reasons to lay them off because we had other strategic opportunities elsewhere. It's like, okay. But you better believe behind closed doors, that was a major component of the decision. So yeah. And this is not, like, to be clear, this is not a new thing. Like, Microsoft has laid off huge teams. They've had contracted companies that they fired because they started unionizing. And there's always another reason for it, right? But it's so consistent that whenever there starts to be discussions or active, unionizing happening, those teams start to get shut down by Microsoft. Like, it's not a coincidence at this point. Like, everybody knows this is going on in the corporate world, and it's good for the bottom line. So, like, all the corporate bigwigs, like, don't say anything. It just is what it is. But I think it's naive to think that that's not playing a role in these considerations. Like, this is just how it works. I hate to be the bearer of bad news. It is a component of it. I've mentioned it 1,000 times, but, like, if you've seen that episode of The Office where Jan comes down into the warehouse and Michael tells her, he just told her, yeah, they're talking about starting a union in the warehouse to negotiate higher wages and stuff. And Jan, representing the corporate side of the company, marches down into the warehouse and says, if there's even a whiff of unionizing going on down here, we will shut down your entire branch and everybody upstairs and downstairs will lose their jobs. And she even references, she's like, you saw what happened in Buffalo. They started to unionize. Every one of them lost their jobs. And now they have to explain to their kids why they can't afford Christmas presents. So maybe think twice before trying to send a message. And then she marches out. Like, it's pretty hardcore, but that's honestly like how a lot of this works. You would never hear the boss say that directly. They'd probably tell you it's just not a great idea for the health of the business. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. But this type of thing happens, man. Yeah, I like the Superstore episode, on how corporate can politely bust unions. Yeah, well, it's like there was one. Hold on. Distribution. I think it was in Canada. I think like Montreal or something. Quebec. Amazon Canada's lawyers announced this morning in an email to the union that the DXT4 warehouse in Laval that they would be permanently ceasing operations in the province of Quebec. Over 1,800 workers in Quebec will be laid off within 2 months. Several hundred delivery personnel hired by subcontractors but linked to a specific warehouse will also lose their jobs. They were doing an entire warehouse and they were building this stuff out, but there was unionization happening within like the delivery network. They were working on unionizing the people working within the warehouse to actually package items and stuff. So the deliverymen, packagers, all those guys, they were talking about forming unions. They were starting to negotiate and do that. And Amazon said, okay. And they took their ball and went home. They shut down all of it. Fired literally thousands of people, like hundreds of delivery personnel through subcontractors, 1,800 workers directly for them. And they just shut the entire thing down. They're like, we've taken on a giant, and then they all got fired. So because Amazon was like, okay, You don't play by our rules, we'll just go. You just don't get to play. So they literally, like, it for them, yeah, Jack, like if you break down the numbers over the course of like a 30-year time horizon, it's cheaper to just shut down the warehouse in that area and not operate there. Just be like, yeah, well, our margins would have been so small or even negative that we'll just shut it down and we won't operate there. Like, again, you don't have to like it. I'm just telling you how this works, okay? Like, it's naive to think that this stuff is not a component. You know, breaking news, massive companies don't like unions and they shut down entire companies if they get a whiff of it, you know? It's something you got to be aware of. Got to be aware of. Okay. Do I have... We got Jor. Jor is here. We can do... I think what we're going to do, guys, is this. This is what we're going to do. Oh, yeah, same thing happened in New York with AOC and Amazon. Yeah, they wanted to open up a big distribution center. I don't know if it was specifically New York or if they were going to be in Jersey and then go over to New York. I don't remember the details of it. But yeah, they were going to open a big distribution center that was going to bring like 9,000 jobs or something like that, 12,000. And there were discussions. They were going to get a bunch of tax breaks specifically for building there. And it's kind of the thing where Amazon will go to a bunch of different cities and say, hey, we want to build a distribution center and we're going to bring 15,000 jobs or 20,000 jobs or whatever. And we'll pay these taxes in through sales tax every month. Like, you'll be making tons of revenue. But to do it, we want you to give us this tax break and you pay for the roads because we're going to have to rebuild some roads. And you do this, this, and this. And then negotiate it out and the cities will bid on it. We had this happen in Colorado recently. The city of Loveland negotiated a massive Amazon warehouse that's being put up there. And they won the bid because they gave some special tax breaks and stuff. But in New York, because they were playing hardball, they're like, no tax breaks. You're a multi-trillion-dollar corporation. You can afford to build here. They said, okay, never mind. And just didn't. Because like, yeah, the reason we're a multi-trillion-dollar corporation is because we don't pay that. So we're going to go somewhere where they give us the break. So sorry. And they just left. So anyway. Let's get Mr. Jor in here. Jor, to keep this simple, I think what I'll do is I'll just call you on Discord and I won't bother making a separate event and I'll just have Jacob clip it out of this just so we can work a little faster. Do. Gotta dig a little deeper. Do. I gotta turn this on. Virtual camera. And then boop. Let's try calling the Jor man. Calling Mr. Jor.
Yes.
Air support to Major Tom, Major Jor. He is here with us in our hearts.
Back from vacation with Aloy.
Yeah.
How do people know stuff like that? Paparazzi everywhere.
Yeah, Jor, the Popo follows him everywhere, dude. Follows him everywhere. Should I do the little intro song here? I can do it real quick, guys. You ready?
Yeah,
ready?
sure. That's it.
Da na 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 na. Free roam. Welcome everybody. Jor, how are you?
Well, I want to know the inspiration for that theme song because normally it's like it's like a build up and this is like immediately you gave it all.
I'm glad you noticed. Yeah, I mean it's an ascendant moment really is what this is. So I just felt it appropriate. We're gonna have a good show. We're gonna talk about a bunch of stuff.
Yes.
But we're gonna have a little more limited show because I've got all of 45 minutes. So it's gonna be a lean, mean.
I'm gonna talk a bit faster, so maybe we can like get more news then.
Okay, I'll try to hype myself up. But yeah, Jor's been on vacation, rocking and rolling.
Oh, yeah.
Is it true that you spent your entire vacation in North Korea?
I was actually at Tencent helping them with the new Horizon clone.
Oh.
They were like looking for feedback.
They're like, this guy, he's gonna like what we've got.
Yeah. Yeah, so no, I was not in Korea. but I was in Italy. I was at the Como Lake. And yeah, look that up if you don't know what I'm talking about. It's beautiful there. And yeah, we rented a boat. It was with 4 friends.
Ooh.
We were chilling. It's the swine life, as we like to call it. Basically doing nothing, chilling at the pool. And that's good. Having a holiday where if you come back, you're actually more recharged than tired.
Yeah.
So
After I had kids, yeah, after kids, there's nothing really like that. You go on vacations and you're like, how am I more tired? The one thing, and there's no way to talk about it without sounding like, you know, a rich prick or something. But when we went to the Bahamas earlier this year, you think you go to the Bahamas, it's going to be the most rejuvenating, refreshing vacation ever. But we went and we got neurovirus. So for an entire week, like, we were horribly sick. Like, everybody's puking and just it's horrible. It's horrible. Your body is trying to turn itself inside out. And then on top of that, like, it's hard to describe, but unless you're in a resort like the Bahamas, there's really not like restaurants the same way you would expect, unless you're on like the Big Island or something. And like, again, there's no way to say it without sounding terrible, but like the food hygiene is just not really a thing there. So like, we were getting served, we're watching the lady make this like fresh chicken that she's gonna fry up, and there's just like all sorts of flies crawling all over the chicken. None of it's refrigerated. Like it was kind of horrifying. So like, you get sick from that too. So the lesson
was that the one where you like recorded a video on the beach or something?
Yep.
Because something happened. I don't know what the news was.
AC
Shadows
Shadows.
got delayed or so.
Yeah. AC Shadows got delayed, and so I was like, I think I was recovering. It was like one of the last days of neurovirus or something, but yeah, I filmed in front of one of the houses we rented. It was good, but my recommendation for anybody wanting to go to the Bahamas, stay at a resort. The Airbnb, whatever the other fancy Vacasa, whatever, that sounds like a really good idea, but I promise you it will be so much better if you have like an on-property restaurant with like stuff that you can eat and not get sick with. It was very cool. It was an amazing experience. There were some really cool places we did go to, like the Coconut Club, really cool places like that, but we learned
that sounds
lessons.
like a strip club.
It does, dude. On the flight out, there's all these people sitting next to us, and they're small planes because you're going to an island that has, you know, an airport with a single runway. It's a very small island, and there's all these people on the plane that are wearing Coconut Club hats, Coconut Club shirts, and hoodies and things. And it really looks like it's one of those Illuminati nightclubs or something. And it's like, all of these people know the same place. They're wearing the same clothes. What do we not know? I thought it was like a swingers club or something, but turns out no, it's just like the one really, really good restaurant and kind of hub on that island. But anyway, video games.
Yeah, exactly. People want to hear, if we only have 45 minutes, we maybe should talk a bit about video games. Maybe it's fun to throw in some topics and then let the chat decide what we discuss, because again, we don't really have a lot of time. I want to ask you one thing though. Can you like nod or blink twice if you finish Mafia?
No, I do not have Mafia.
Okay.
No, I've been talking with them. Basically, we talked about it earlier on stream. There's kind of 2 lists you can end up on: the press list or like the fan list, and
or the blacklist.
The blacklist. I guess there's always that list. But no, for Mafia, because they consider me a big fan of the franchise. They put me on the fan list, where like they send like a goodie care package or whatever that I've been
without the game.
It's been hinted.
They know you will buy it anyway, so they're not sending it.
That type of thing. But yeah, like no review day one for me. I should be able to do, and I tried get it up for launch day, but I do not have a quote unquote review code to play it before launch.
You can do the New Zealand trick.
Oh yeah. I think the only time I've ever done the New Zealand trick was for Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League.
Oh yeah, me too.
It's literally the only reason I bought it on Xbox, because
yeah,
you can change on an Xbox, but not on.
To be fair, you can also do the this New Zealand trick on PlayStation, but then it's way more hoops. You have to basically make a New Zealand PlayStation account and then just look at an address in New Zealand for McDonald's or something, and then type that in. The only downside is that it's not on your account, and on Xbox you can still buy it on your account. Simply switch to New Zealand and then play early.
Yeah, on Xbox you just like literally change the date and time, and it's like, okay, sure.
yeah, we believe you. Even though your IP address is the same, it's really not weird at all. No, but I looked at the at the map they had, and it was really like midnight in every region, because some games right now, to combat this, even on Steam, everything unlocks always at the same time, no matter where you live. But they've been like experimenting with that on PlayStation as well, and so no New Zealand trick for some games. But yeah, Mafia still has it. So I think if you do the New Zealand trick, you can finish it before the people in Europe and the US can play it.
Just get in there, wrap it up. Yeah, well, they came out. It seems like the concerns over gameplay length has been heard, because I've seen multiple statements from
I don't believe
their official X count. Well, all of the verbiage is always very... It's very precise what they are saying. They're like, it is comparable to Mafia 1 and 2. It's going to be a familiar length for people who played the original games, which, like, okay, so 10 to 11 hours is safe. But maybe this is wrong. I feel like anytime a developer says anything about the length of their game, they overestimate.
Yeah, cut by 3 hours in this case, or like a certain percentage.
Because like if they say 100 hours of content, you'll probably be good after like 60 to 70. You know, like very rarely do they underestimate playtime.
And it might be true for people who look in every corner for every collectible, but yeah, probably people who are going to really mainline it will be done even faster, I would imagine, but we will see.
Yeah, it's going to be most likely, I think it's probably going to land somewhere in that like 9 to 10 hour range, maybe up to 11 if you do a lot of exploration, because to be clear, the way it's set up, they do have a sort of I forget what they call it, free roam mode or something like that. How appropriate, right?
Free roam trigger.
Free roam.
We should like sue them.
Yeah, we should sue them. But they do have a mode like that where you can drive around and look for. I think they alluded to, or even outright said, there's collectibles hidden around the map or something, which is interesting. But I think if you're just playing the story, you probably wrap it up in like 9 to 10 hours. It's probably
that
pretty
would be
lean.
Before the US gets to play it.
Yeah, and I mean, at $50, it literally just comes down to what each and every person thinks of, dollar to value. It, for me, fundamentally comes down to the quality of the story, and all of that, which is typically why I play Mafia games. So I'm intrigued by it. Of course, having a review code would be nice.
I want the game to be good. Yeah. But yeah, them not sending it out is.
Yeah, it's like
another red flag.
My understanding is that I should be able to get it tomorrow is my expectation, which does mean technically I might be able to do when tomorrow. Might be able to finish it by the time of launch date officially, but time will just tell. Time will tell. I really hope it's good, because I mean, if this is a miss for Hangar 13, I don't think they're long for this world. I really hope that they nail it and pull it off, because also if this does well, it means we probably get a full massive Mafia game, which I would love.
The excitement, like, people want this to be good. They want a game like this, so it's really up to them to deliver, and I hope they can. But I do think this, if it doesn't deliver, it will be another story where they only had 2 years. They had like to cut blah 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 to get it out in this financial year. Maybe it was planned for last year. Like, we will probably hear a story like that. But let's hope it is a surprise, or actually, even if it's like a 75, I think that would be. Because I think it will then sell pretty well. It's in line with we looked at the Metacritics, remember, for the previous Mafia games? They were around that as well. So I think if they can nail that would be great.
I agree. And I mean, the thing that people always forget about is that Mafia is a huge franchise. Like, there's a lot of interest in Mafia. And what blew my mind was that Mafia 3, back when it dropped, had pretty abysmal reviews. I mean, it was not received well by critics, but it still, I'm pulling it up right now, It still sold. Let's
8 million,
see.
right?
In total, yeah. So Metacritic, PC 62, PS4 68, Xbox One 67. Okay, like not great. But it was the second best-selling retail game in the UK its first week of release, behind only FIFA. And then Mafia 3 sold 58.7% more than Mafia 2 in the UK during the same period of time. It debuted number 9 on Japanese charts, but as of November of 2016, they announced the game had shipped 4.5 million units in its first week. Like,
yeah, but then the 8 million is like a way more recent number. So it had no tail because
it had
the
no
word of
tail.
mouth.
By March
But it
of
shows you
by March of 2020,
how
they were at 7 million. So I mean, it still was moving. The fact it sold another 2.5 million after the abysmal launch is
Yeah,
also
but that
kind
was
of
like
impressive.
it was for sale for $10 probably, right?
Yeah.
We don't know. I think the 4.5 million was also shipped. I think like back when that game came out, 2016, that was still when there were retailers at E3 looking at the. They were like, "Oh, Mafia, it's gonna be big. I'm gonna buy a lot of copies." Did they sell those copies? We really don't know.
Yeah,
but
that's fair. I didn't
no,
realize this, but let's just appreciate where we are in the industry, by the way, because right under this, and then I'll shut up. The PC version was locked at 30 FPS. Can you imagine a game doing that nowadays? Locking a PC version to 30 frames? Dude, people would melt.
I mean, if you're on the Steam Deck, yeah, you're kind of used to it. If
Yeah,
you want to run games
yeah. They're
properly.
like, we're targeting Steam Deck hardware.
I've been playing Shadows on my ROG LIX, 60 FPS. I put everything low, but on the small screen it still looks great, and I'm like impressed. So I totally get that it can run on the Switch too, but I think this means every Assassin's Creed during this PS5 generation will be able to run on this system, which is, I think, pretty exciting.
Yeah, well, those handhelds, dude, they're absolutely crazy how good they've gotten. But yeah, I all this said, we all hope Mafia is great. None of us are rooting for any game's downfall, especially like I'm a big Mafia fan. I hope they do. It's going to be really interesting to watch and see. And my hope, a lot of time with rushed games, they kind of end on a cliffhanger because they didn't really have time to finish everything. So they just kind of make some cuts.
Order 1886.
Yeah, Order 1886, where it's like literally the entire game is the prologue for the actual game that we hope to be able to make in 5 years. So I hope it doesn't do that. As long as they have a good story, I'll be here for it. But it's, my goodness, it's going to be interesting to see how it does. It's been really fascinating to see how they've handled marketing differently. Because I was talking to somebody and they were like, oh yeah, 2K, basically an endless budget for Borderlands, but Mafia is much more restricted on how much money they're willing to spend on marketing, which might actually be a good thing. I mean, if they can keep the budget down for marketing and everything else, it'll be easier to break a profit. And,
yeah, for sure.
That's the hope. The people who like Mafia know about it.
If you know the game is good, you want to shout it from the rooftops. So yeah, there are multiple ways to look at it, but maybe by the time people listen to this, we already have the answer. So I think it's good to also touch a bit on some other things. I looked at like some recent gaming news. Maybe again people can decide what we talked about. I mean, it's been a while, of course, since we did the show, but yeah, of course, Battlefield, the reveal happened. Like one of my predictions is I think it's going to be the best-selling game of the year. We of course have the beta this weekend, with early access actually happening tomorrow at the time of this recording on Thursday already. But the numbers that game is putting up in terms of people, 40,000 people are already in the beta waiting for it to go live. The trailer has like 10 million views or something in a day. This is another where people want this to be good, even though they have been burned before. And so far it seems like they're hitting on all the right notes. So I'm just like, I'm not a huge Battlefield fan because it feels like mostly when I play that game, I totally get the skill and how beautiful it is and just the cool things you can do in that game that you cannot do in other shooters. But I don't like being killed by someone and like I could not have done anything about this. Like I have no control. But that's of course part of the chaotic nature. But so I'm more interested in it from a gaming industry perspective. But I think they got I think they did a great job. Like everything we said with the live service games from Sony, how they failed. We had a lot of creators come forward saying, yo, I've been already testing Battlefield for more than a year and have like been at DICE a couple of times. They've been doing the Battlefield labs, of course, letting a lot of people
one dude I
play
saw,
as well.
You'll have to forgive me, maybe somebody in chat knows who it is. Somebody, a content creator, was saying that they had been to 4 different like EA studios to play test it at different times.
Yeah,
like
maybe Moxie or something. I don't know.
Maybe,
I saw Moxie
yeah.
talk about them.
But like they have been trying from the very beginning to get this right, and they're listening to the community and being like, we cannot afford for this to be a screw up. And I think they've done a very good job so far. They could screw it up, you know, never leave it or never dismiss the possibility of snatching defeat from the jaws of victory. EA's managed that before, certainly. But I think that everything is going about as well as you could hope for it to go so far. I think as long as the playtest doesn't have any sort of colossal, disastrous technical issue, it should be pretty well received. And they're doing 2 full weekends of it, which will also be really good. It'll be fascinating to watch how player counts grow or shrink as time goes by, because that's obviously something we saw with Marathon. They did a closed beta, but even among the closed beta, we saw people dropping off hard, you know.
Oh yeah,
like they play it for a few hours then just move on. But it'll be really interesting to see, because it seems like the sentiment is really positive.
It's already, they already got one big thing that a lot of live service games don't have when they start. You have like 2 camps. You have the games that people are actually craving for, which is a new Battlefield, because yeah, sure, there are a lot of first-person shooters, but there's nothing like the scope of a Battlefield multiplayer match. And you have the live service games where they have to convince you to care, and that's what we saw with Marathon. People were like, okay, it's the new Bungie game, I think I should care, and yeah, I'm gonna give it a shot, and then it did not turn out well. So I think EA already has an extra step ahead. They just have to deliver a solid Battlefield. They don't have to do anything. Like, that is the whole selling point for this game is, yo, we screwed up. All those things we introduced, we're now doing the exact same things we always did.
Yeah.
And and then with better graphics, and obviously, like, I'm so happy that they're not on PS4 while the new Call of Duty is still coming to PS4 and Xbox One.
Yeah.
Which kind of crazy, but
well, and so many of these things that they've done, it kind of is reminiscent of like the old school days with Sony doing the game share tutorial versus Xbox One. Like they're doing direct answers to what Microsoft, or to what I guess now Microsoft, yeah, but what Activision's been doing, where, for example, like the cartoony skins, they do it because they sell well, sure, but I think it's mostly like the 0.1% whales that are buying all of the skins, and then the other 99% of people are like, I hate playing Call of Duty and seeing Nicki Minaj and then Stewie Griffin and Roger from American Dad running around, and then Beavis and Butthead are over there. I hate that, but they're the silent majority, you know, like vast majority, because it's the whales spending all the money on those things. And I think by coming out and saying, we're not doing that, we're not, all of our skins and cosmetics will be grounded in the world, in the universe, in our setting, in our art style. We have no plans to do anything like that. No unicorn skins, none of that. And I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if eventually they do it, because a lot of these games do it because they do make ridiculous amounts of money on those skins. But I think at least for the launch and for the foreseeable bit, when they're building the game up, they're going to stay away from that like it's you know, radioactive, which I think is the right way to do it, because it may make money, but I think you sacrifice a lot of loyalty, and it's found very cringy by a lot of people. They really don't like it.
And at one point, the whales also need people in their game, and if more and more people drop off because they don't like what Call of Duty is doing with with their monetization, then the whales also have no fun anymore. So I totally agree. Maybe it's short-term gain, but it is kind of ruining what Call of Duty was for a lot of people. But I can also see them pull the nostalgic card as well, and then go for a full military iteration. Like, they'll still launch every year, so they can totally do that. And a lot of the skins don't even carry over to the next game. Yeah. So not always, at least sometimes. But
it's gonna be interesting. I mean, I think looking at the trailer for the next Call of Duty that they dropped at the end of the showcase in June, I'm like, I do think there's a lot more excitement for Battlefield than for Call of Duty. Call of Duty just has an entrenched fan base, of course, and a lot of people that spend a crap ton of money. But Call of Duty has pretty much been solo in the FPS genre at the upper echelons for, I mean, when was last Battlefield that like actually did well? Like a long time ago. One or did 5 was I don't know. It's been a minute. It's been years. Because I don't think
5 was already the, oh no, why does this person have a prosthetic arm and stuff like that, remember?
Yeah.
That didn't go over well either.
I guess, yeah, Battlefield 1 is what you're saying. That was when? I feel like that was like 2018, maybe?
15 or something?
16. Battlefield 1 was 2016, dude.
Was that the Titanfall 2 sandwich? I think so, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's also 2016. So then Battlefield, Call of Duty, Titanfall 2, that was their strategy to beat Call of Duty, but they ended up, ruining their own success, especially Titanfall 2, sadly.
Yeah.
But
oops. But I mean, it's been at that point 9 years since they had a huge hit with Battlefield that was considered by pretty much everybody to be a success. I just realized it's $4. Shout out Battlefield 1 if you want it. If you don't have it yet, it is $4 on Steam. It's 90% off right now, so go get it if you don't have it. But I think that there is a lot of desire for a game like this. Call of Duty has pretty much perfectly exemplified why competition is important. You gotta have it. You just need competition. Otherwise, you'll end up with Beavis and Butthead in Call of Duty, and that's just how it goes.
But watch, like Microsoft spent 70 billion on Activision, and they lose. Then they now have finally some competition.
Yeah, they're like, oh god, how much can we afford to buy EA? Can we do that? Let's do that. Yeah. That's easier than coming up with a solution. Imagine if they were to do that. Oh god.
Did you, by the way, read that Battlefield caused them to delay some of the other games that EA is working on? Like Motive was, of course, doing the Dead Space remake, but then they were announced as also a Battlefield support studio, but they're also doing the Iron Man game. But because EA is like, yo, let's focus on Battlefield, they actually delayed internally the Iron Man game, according to Tom Henderson in an article. And other, less important titles have also been delayed. Like EA is really going all in. Yeah. And I think the numbers don't lie. Like people really want this to be good. And I think the rollout for this has been super interesting. Like if you are in the know, you probably have seen a lot of Battlefield gameplay already before they even talked about it officially. But announcing it in mid-July, having an event for the multiplayer a week later, and now people can already play it, and it comes out 2 months later, that's pretty sick. Yeah. It's like an early October game. That's crazy. I think if they really can nail the quality, because we heard some things behind the scenes as well where the campaign might not be ready, they have to cut some things, and we of course have to remain cautious about all that. But I think the beta will be very important for them, and they seem optimistic, at least with them having tested it so long.
Well, and that's, they let some streamers play it live as well, which I think was really good for instilling confidence. I think nowadays transparency is really good. People are critical and skeptical because there's so much nonsense at play where maybe they're trying to hide the fact that they don't have this system up and running yet, or there's a really restrictive embargo, or like back with Suicide Squad, they only had 3 streamers allowed to play it before launch, and that was it. Only 3 people besides the press that they invited out, and
we all sponsored and was all very hands-on. They were basically in the office at Rocksteady, right? It was,
and that was it. And I think you can see the response to it. A lot of the time when you have those big sponsored streams before the game's launch, it could be perceived as they're just trying to buy my attention. And sometimes maybe it works, but I think a lot of the time people just broadly dismiss it, especially if they're critical of the game to begin with. But I think because Battlefield also is a game people really want to see make a return to prominence, and they really want to see it pop off again and do well, people are rooting for them. People are hoping they pull it off. It's just whether or not they can execute on it. But like you said, they have a lot of support studios. They have a lot of work going into it. And it's pretty much all hands on deck right now to get this out, because for EA, they need it.
I mean, they don't need it, but they need it to make Battlefield a thing again. And that's the thing with them. Like, Apex is now doing better. EA Sports FC, like, they have the college football now in their roster. Like, they are like nailing it, actually, in terms of output,
their earnings popped off. I wonder if I can pull that up real quick. Their earnings popped off, and the most surprising thing was that, like, specifically Apex Legends was doing better, which I don't think anybody saw coming.
No, but that is because it was really doing way worse. So I think that it doing better is like, at one point it had to go up, right?
They're like, it's not on fire anymore. It's better.
Exactly. Yeah.
But like you can see, EA sales boomed to 1.3 billion. Earnings expectations smashed as EA Sports and Apex Legends outperform. And it seems that they're just starting to get their ducks in a row, and I hope they can pull it off. And
we'll play it tomorrow. I think one interesting like segue that of course also happened while we were not recording the podcast. Like, they had been saying even in May already that they had no plans to raise their game prices. And basically what they are saying is, our business is very different today than it was just 10 years ago. In a world where everything we did 10 years ago was about selling shiny discs in plastic boxes in retail shelves, while that's still part of our business, it's a significantly smaller part of our business. And we now have pricing representing everything from free to play all the way to deluxe editions and beyond. So basically what he's saying is, we are making way more money with microtransactions. So selling the game for cheaper, getting more people in, will probably make us more money in the end. And I really think that is what they're doing now, of course, with Battlefield, and it's probably a pretty smart approach if you have a big post-launch plan and just want a game with a huge community. And of course, we saw, it's been a while, but it's still interesting, I think, to discuss in general, Outer Worlds 2 flipping the Switch back to the $70 mark. And if you now really think about it, the only game that is $80 is Mario Kart. But I would argue that I think 97% of the Switch 2 owners has it, and 80% was bundle. So a very small percentage actually paid the $80 for it, while a lot of people bought it with the $50 bundle price, actually. So
I agree. I think there was this thought, and you could tell executives were like, we'll just try it. We'll try it, see what they do. But the gaming community they were already pretty fed up with pricing hikes, not just in gaming, but life in general. And so going to 70 was already pretty steep for people. And the thing that I think has been largely ignored or underappreciated on the part of some of these executives is the fact that you may raise the price, and going from 60 to 70 does represent like a solid, 16-17% price hike. It's a huge jump on a percentage basis. But every time you raise the price, it increases the standard which players expect to achieve if you price the game there. If you have a $70 game, people expect more than a $60 game. It's not this thing in a vacuum where it's like, well, now that is the AAA price. That is what AAA games are. So now it is 70. And it's because there's other companies that come out and they put out their game for $60, or they put out their game for 50, like with Mafia, and they try to price it more dynamically as opposed to just locking everything at the top tier price. If everything was locked at the top tier, eventually players would probably acclimate. But when it's a free market, no, competition will start to warrant companies coming in cheaper, offering a bundle deal, whatever else they may do. And the fact that Microsoft, of all companies, walked back the $80 price point for Outer Worlds, I think is pretty shocking, but it probably shows just how abysmal those pre-order numbers probably were.
They're even refunding people, so that already shows you, kind of like with Concord, they're refunding because only 2,000 people bought it or something, right?
Yeah. I would love to know what the number stood at, because even the developers at Obsidian were like, yeah, that is not our call. They were like, we don't even think our game is worth 80. Like,
Dude, that social media account, that was crazy. They were like, basically, they made this GIF. I'm not sure if you saw it, where they had the main character like punch an enemy with like an $80 price tag on the head, and then it switched to $70, as if they were like, yeah, we did it, but they set the price themselves. So were they like smacking Phil Spencer or something? Like,
kind of seemed
what
like
is
it.
happening here?
Yeah, I think
It was so weird.
there's a lot of infighting in it within the studios there, because whatever Papa Phil says is what you're doing. But also, I mean, I think it's all about framing as well. Even though it's now 70, I still thought 70 was probably too steep for the Outer Worlds 2, based on what I'm seeing. I think 70 is too steep for Avowed, and that's like the comparable game from Obsidian as well. But because it's not 80, it feels like a gift. It feels like they're doing us a favor. But really, they're not. It's still really expensive for the kind of game it appears to be. We'll see what it's actually like when it launches. But that's the benefit of doing it as well, is that because they started at 80 and they walk it down to 70, it's like, you're welcome. When maybe it wasn't worth even 70 to begin with,
100%. Like, I would make the argument, if they make Outer Worlds 2 $40-$50, then there will already be more people interested in it as well. And I think really right now it's way less a competition about like, you want to basically get into people's algorithm as well, if that makes sense. And people will just simply already like knock you off of like, or not be interested in you if they are like, okay, I've decided $70 is, I'm not gonna do it, while I might be interested in the game. And then you will never reach those people again. While maybe if you did reach that person at $50, have more people talk about it, creators making videos on it, they get more views, there's more word of mouth, and it kind of like the ball rolls. We've seen a lot of games like that just succeed with a smaller price tag. So I do think for an Outer Worlds 2 in a crowded space now, October, it's getting pretty crowded, and that previous game always had more of that AA nature. It was from Private Division, the AA sort of label from 2K. So Microsoft now putting this as their big holiday title, it always felt kind of strange, even though I totally think that the quality is there and that's what they are trying to do. It's about the consumer's like perception of what they are getting, and
right.
I don't think the $70 is what they feel that game is worth it.
Well, and I think you raised a good point with the perception is you can price it however you want. You can make it literally it was the titular game at the end of their showcase. They did their core showcase and then they did a highlight spotlight on Outer Worlds 2, which previously they did for Call of Duty and Starfield. And so they're putting it next to those games in terms of what they think of it. They're putting it on that same stage. But even still, like, if the community perception is that it's not on that level, it's just not on that level, and you can't charge as if it is. Like, you're trying to make it on that level, but ultimately, if players are not convinced and they don't agree with you that it's on that level, that's what you have to deal with, And maybe it ends up being one of those games that we play and we're like, oh my God, this is like quadruple A. Eve, get over here and look at this. Maybe it's on that level and it blows us away. But right now, like, players don't get to purchase something knowing that. Players purchase it based on their current perception of what it's worth. And right now, I think the consensus is that it's not. It's no Call of Duty. It's no like quadruple A game. It looks like a really solid AA game. And part of that's graphics, part of that's the gameplay that's been shown, part of that is the scope, and also the reputation of Obsidian. They just put out another game, Avowed, which most people would agree is probably not on that same AAA level. And that also is a component of it. So,
It's and I think that's overall the problem that Microsoft kind of has. They have too many games going on right now, so it's hard for them to focus on stuff. We got like a super chat, so thanks a lot to Justin. Doom the Dark Ages getting big updates this week for QuakeCon and improved gameplay for mechs and dragon levels, plus a peek at the campaign DLC. That is awesome, but yeah, I made the point before, like Doom the Dark Ages, like Doom Eternal was huge. Feels like Doom the Dark Ages came and went, and that's kind of Microsoft had to focus on Oblivion, or like that came out earlier. Like they have so much stuff going on already. We also had rumors while we were gone that Fable might be delayed to 2027, and to be fair, Microsoft doesn't need that game next year.
Yeah,
so
they might be like,
they could,
thank God.
yeah, maybe we should.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Outer Worlds is just that weird. They want to put a spotlight on it. They gave it the final spot at the end of their show, but still, yeah, you cannot make something or turn something into something it's not, sadly.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's definitely a component of this, is that Microsoft, they've honestly, I see some people saying they don't care if you buy the game, they just want you to sign up for Game Pass. I agree that if you sign up for Game Pass, they're happy. If you buy the game, they're happy. But they also now with these games are selling them on PlayStation as well, where players are much more acclimated to buying things at full price. And so, if they think they can get $80 out of PlayStation gamers, they'll charge $80. I think the fact they walked it back shows that even among PlayStation pre-orders and stuff, it was too low. Come on, Luke, it's way better. Outer Worlds way better than Avowed. We don't know that yet. I mean, Outer Worlds 1, I liked it. It had a lot of problems though too, I think. But they're just tighter in scope. One's fantasy, of course, one's sort of sci-fi. And we'll see what this one does. It does seem to be striking a different tone than Outer Worlds 1, which will be interesting, but
yeah,
we'll see. You guys know.
But I think oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, but I think to kind of round it out, like in terms of the $80 discussion, I do think games at one point will go there, but maybe, like we all predicted, the first third-party game will be GTA after all. I don't think anyone else is gonna try it after this, and I do think like later on there, I really think that $80 price tag will be, and €90. We had some discussion about that. Yeah. Games are €80 here, but they were 70 the previous generation, so basically a €10 bump would be €90 here. But I think GTA will do it and get away with it, and other titles like maybe a Witcher 3, if we get Spider-Man 3 at one point, maybe Xbox will try it with, like they should have tried it with Gears as their first game if they wanted to do it. If it was launching on PS5 then as well. Outer Worlds always seemed like a weird.
It was always
weird
just kind of a weird choice, yeah. But I think it's just because they literally didn't have anything else. I do still think, Microsoft's phrasing was very specific. They said for this holiday, we will not be pricing any of our premium games at 70 or at 80 rather.
Yeah.
That does not say in the spring they won't. And the current
Forza Horizon, maybe.
Forza maybe, or like the other leak is that Starfield is expected to come to PS5 with a second expansion. I wouldn't be surprised if they do a complete edition and do it at 80.
I mean, I don't think so, because that's an old game.
Dude, among my community, I polled people. My community has plenty of problems with Starfield. And I asked people if they would be buying it at like full price on PlayStation. And a solid 20% of people said yes. Like, I can't fathom that. And maybe they're trolling, but I wouldn't be surprised is all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
I mean, yeah, of course, would not put it past them, but I think it would be smart for them to really do it with Gears or something like that, like or Forza Horizon. Like, that's other news that came out. Forza Horizon 5 is the best-selling PS5 game this year.
Yeah, it like blew
Sold
up.
More than Assassin's Creed Shadows. That's crazy.
Yeah, it like blew up. It's doing crazy well. I think that there's, next year is going to be the year of really pushing the boundary with pricing. And I think, like you said, it's probably going to be spearheaded by GTA. Next year, we also have a handful of other big AAA stuff that's expected to come. So, there's rumors whether we see something like, finally the Guerrilla Horizon project, if that ends up being premium.
They're not going to charge $80.
Dude, you never know. Herman loves him. Herman loves him some premium.
Maybe if they get some
service.
Tencent money from that lawsuit.
Dude, I genuinely, speaking of that, because you were gone when all that was going down.
Oh yeah.
My theory, because the lawsuit states that Tencent approached Sony PlayStation and asked them if they wanted to license the Horizon IP. I think they made that whole game to be a Horizon game, asset for asset, and then they were told no because Sony is like, this is really similar to something like whether it's the NCSoft game or it's the Guerrilla game, they're like, it's way too on the nose. No.
Like, and that game has Palworld influence. Like, it's a Palworld clone, basically. I'm not sure if you saw the gameplay. Like, it's like a survival Palworld. Like, they don't want Horizon associated with that, which I think makes sense.
I get the sneaking suspicion that they were just, for one, you know, they were like, we already got 2 live service games in the works. We don't need a third that, you know, even if we're not fronting development for it, it's just too much.
Even they realize that I do think that's an applause. Like, I am a happy Herman at one point after the Lego game, the VR game, then she's like, even for me, this is enough.
Yeah, people are already burnt out, and we haven't even released these. That one's going to be fascinating because it's like we were saying. Right now, whatever happens with the lawsuit, who knows? They might settle, they might rework it. I have no idea. But we could get that Tencent basically Horizon game, the Guerrilla Horizon game, and then the NCSoft MMO, all within like 18 months of each other.
No. The NCSoft MMO is a mobile game, and the Horizon Online game, we will see that.
I do have a question for you about the NCSoft game. Do you think that's like China exclusive? Because I know a lot of their projects they do are like exclusive over there.
No, Sony has been trying really hard and failing really hard, like their live service push as well, to make mobile happen as well. Of course, really like early days, they had like an Uncharted Temple Run ripoff and all that sort of stuff. But like they are looking at that market. Like Sony right now is in a very position, but they know in 10 years the industry is going to look much worse or like much different, and they are really not in a good position right now because their biggest like cash cow is a console that less and less like the newer generation is not really interested in. They want either mobile games or PC games, and they make all their money from third-party sales. Like that's basically most of their revenue on the PlayStation. So if less and less people play PlayStation, they need to get money elsewhere. So they are of course looking at Helldivers is then their success story, but they also want a Fortnite or an Apex Legends or something. And you want to be on the mobile platform too. You want to have an Horizon. I don't know if Horizon is the right fit, but of course we have 2K also, or Take-Two by Zynga, and they are like really experimenting as well with, okay, we have Borderlands, with GTA. What if we made a mobile first title for that? Call of Duty Mobile. Warzone really failed, but Call of Duty Mobile, I think, has made a couple of billion as well. Diablo Immortal, even though people are like, ooh, made a ton of money as well. That is sure more in the Chinese market, but that is also a market Sony wants to be in, and they see our games are not made for that. How can we get more money out of it? So I totally think it's going to be a mobile, like kind of like Assassin's Creed Jade, where they are still going to push that in the Western market because they would be stupid not to. But yeah, sure, it's maybe more focused on the mobile first countries overall. But Sony is looking to expand, of course.
Yeah, and they got the IP to do it. It's just executing.
All right, do they though? Like, it's a lot of linear, story-driven. Like, that's why the God of War live service sounded so strange, and the Lost Us Online did not work. I think Horizon has a shot, but also maybe making a Monster Hunter non-Horizon game would have been smarter. I don't know. To be fair, like with how Monster Hunter Wilds is doing now, they do got like it's doing worse than people expect. So
certainly, but they almost certainly will have like an Iceborne scale expansion.
Oh yeah,
next year at
around
some point,
the time that
right around when this launches. But I do think you raise a good point, which is that perhaps Sony's IP that they have, because their IP built up through largely single player narrative games, they maybe do not translate to live service the same way, especially because most of PlayStation stuff is character based. It's not like, you think of something a little bit more broad, like, oh, we made Titanfall, or we made Killzone, and then we transitioned that into a live service like like a larger live service platform from that. It's like, no, these games are based around like Kratos or Aloy or Nathan Drake or Ellie and Joel. And transitioning that into a live service format, I think, is much more difficult because people aren't just connected to the world or the mechanics; they're connected to the characters themselves.
That's why I think that Ghost of Tsushima Legends, like, that really showed that it is possible. I think the blueprint they had for that, basically looking at Jin's character and making 4 distinct classes based on the things that he could do, and also them going, instead of Jin being the lead for the next game, having a different character, also leaves way more room for what is Ghost of going to be in the future. So I think that is maybe an interesting twist on that too. But I do agree overall that a lot of their biggest IPs, if you look at their character like posters they put out, yeah, it's not a live service type situation, sadly, and yeah, they have a hard time. That's why they go to all these outside studios with veterans who worked on Call of Duty Zombies. Yo, please make a co-op game for us.
Yeah.
Hopefully it works out.
Create an original IP like a Concord.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's going to be the new Star Wars, you know?
Yeah.
It's going to be great.
Didn't you hear? Ray Farr, thank you for the very generous $10 super chat. I've watched multiple hours-long Starfield video essays and still have no interest in playing the game, probably because you watched all the content on it. Especially at full price tag for a buggy complete edition that still relies on modders to fix. Well, to be fair, it will be with creations, which are paid mods, so there's that. I mean, I agree. There's a lot of people who are like, who on earth would buy that at full price? But there are a lot of people out there who are just BGS fans that never played Starfield, never engaged with it because it wasn't on their platform.
And to be fair, like, BGS is now, thanks to the Fallout show and the Oblivion remaster, in a way better spotlight. Like, people are like, oh yeah, I'm gonna give this a shot. Like, on PlayStation, I think, like I said with the algorithms sort of analogy, people who play on PlayStation were never interested in Starfield, so never saw content about it. But now, if they announced on PlayStation, it's suddenly something they can actually experience. Like, why watch videos? Okay, Ray, you're then doing it, but, or yeah, maybe you can access the game, but why watch videos for a game you know you can never play, right? You're only like kind of torturing yourself. So yeah, maybe when Starfield gets announced, but I do think it's gonna be, the rumors are now like early or spring, right? I think it makes sense. Give the devs more time to work on the DLC, and yeah, you don't want this launching in that September spot like last year, 1 month before Outer Worlds 2. I think that's not smart.
Yeah, well, and it looks like they're gonna have certainly the best version of the game compared to the launch version. They've added maps for cities now, so you can see where you are. That's cool.
Wow.
They fixed a bunch of bugs. They added a buggy, which is now, so like that 4 to 5 minute walk between points of interests on a planet now can be like a minute drive.
I love what you say now, and it reminds me of, like, I saw comments saying, whoa, the new Battlefield has a scoreboard, and I was like, oh yeah, 2042 did not have a scoreboard.
Our standards have shifted. Yeah. Well, and we just talked about this earlier on stream, is that they have data mined a bunch of code within an update that they've since stripped out of Starfield in the last 24 hours. But somebody scrubbed a bunch of the code, found multiple lines that referenced a cruise mode for your ship in Starfield. And based on the code and how it's typed out and what it looks like, it seems as though they're going to be doing some sort of update that allows you to set the ship to cruise mode, which people think is going to be used for traveling between planets within a solar system. So you can fly directly to it instead of having to use a load
like
screen.
No Man's Sky more.
Yeah. Like that game from 2016. Yeah.
I mean, less load screens is good in my book, but
yeah, I don't think it magically fixes it, but
no.
Either way,
you're still loading in the background. But hey, like, I think they're gonna treat Starfield on PS5 as like a second launch, and they should. And it's gonna be a much better game, but it still is that game where the main story is running into a cave, getting to the end.
It's still a collectathon that is highly repetitive and has like a total lack of creativity when it comes to world building.
Dude,
we watched a video recently and it was like they had the chance to create a new universe. A universe of characters. It's set in space. You have crazy alien races and all sorts of stuff. You could have an entire planet populated with nothing but gummy bears if they wanted to. And you know what they do? They have space cowboys that all have southern accents for some reason. And then they have space pirates and space corporatists. And it's like the least creative thing you could possibly imagine.
Oh, yeah. For sure. And then they have the powers that all felt like an afterthought.
Space magic.
I went and got all of them. That was a grind, man. Going to every location and then beep beep beep, beep. Oh, I have to go there. Doing the same
hop in the
puzzle,
spinning ring
mini game where you have to like float in the air, collect some orbs, and then you get like a power that you don't even want to use because it's really bad. And like, there's a lot wrong with that game, but I did enjoy it a bit too. Like you do, I don't know. I hope people enjoy it on PS5. But to be fair, they say spring. GTA 6 is gonna, but I still think it's gonna launch.
No, yeah, we know Horizon's launching right next to GTA, so I'm sure it'll be fine.
It'd be so funny. GTA delayed, Horizon Online delays as well.
Like we have to go right next to it. Yeah. Well, everybody, unfortunately, I do have to go. I have to go pick up a rental car because our hail damaged car is in the shop. So, yeah, we haven't had the car because the rental car company was like, yeah, we can't get you one for 2 or 3 days. So I was like, that's fantastic. So Uber it is, but now I'm gonna go pick it up, so it'll be okay. But
like
yeah,
Starfield in real life without a car.
Yeah, if only I had load screens too.
Yeah.
If only I had fast travel. Do you have any closing thoughts? Anything you're looking forward to? Maybe we do Mafia Metacritic predictions.
73.
73. Okay. I'm gonna go 77. I think there'll be a pretty solid number of like 8s.
And what will be the runtime? Like the average on how long to beat?
I'm gonna guess most journalists will write 10 hours, but it actually took them 9.
I'm gonna say 7 hours on how long to beat the main story. Dude, $50. They're asking $50.
Yeah, but
why?
It's $50 in 2025 money, which is basically like $4 in 2019.
Exactly.
Money. Yeah. So
it's like less money than Mafia 1 was when it came out.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting. I hope they pull it off so bad. I really hope it's good, but we'll find out. I'm going to find out with you guys when reviews drop. I'm guessing tomorrow.
Move to New Zealand tomorrow, like short break.
Just quickly hop on a flight. Yeah.
That's fast travel though. How that works.
It basically is. Yeah. Yeah. Well, everybody, you guys are fantastic. Thank you for hanging out with us. Thank you for doing the shorter show with me, Mr. Jor.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, thanks for having me still, even though you had other things to do.
Oh yeah, no, it's gonna be good. We are going to get back in the swing of things. We're getting out of the summer slump, so I have a feeling things are gonna start to pick up a lot.
Gamescom.
Gamescom. Yeah, we'll have to do a deep dive into that next week or the week after.
If you want, we can do that. Yeah, 100%.
Predictions.
No, week after it's already. It has already happened.
Oh, really?
I might be going to Cologne as well, so. It's still up in the air a bit. But next week on Wednesday, it's like the week before the Jeff Keighley show. So we can do our predictions then.
That's perfect. Well, guys, you have a reason to look forward to next week's show. Make sure to subscribe, like it if you enjoyed it. Rate us on Spotify, all of that stuff. Much love. We'll see you soon, okay?
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.